Never stop. Don't ever stop. Just keep on going. Just keep on going. If somebody says you can't, well, just ask them, why do you think I can't? And if they tell you a reason, well, you don't have any money or you don't have this, you don't have that, well, then you get that and you just continue to do that. And if just don't stop. Just don't let that knock you down. And you just got to keep on pushing. People are always going to say no and you can't, and you're not going to be successful and this and that. And as soon as you give up, then you give up. And then that's that. Like, you just got to keep on pushing. And then when you get there, like what you said, well, what's the next step? Like, what's next? Because like nobody's going to do anything for you except for yourself. And if people are going to tell me no, like, I would never thought that I would be here in this situation 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago, not even 3 years ago would I thought that I'd be in the situation that I'm at right now. And there's been lots of people who like said that they were proud of me and they're proud of what I've accomplished and they couldn't do it. And it's like, no, like, you can do it. You just don't want to do it. You can do it. You can do everything. You were given every opportunity that I was given. It's just that you haven't done it, and you could still do it. Like, you're 30. Okay, you only have your GED. Okay, well, I didn't start school until I was like 28. 27, and it was a long time. So just never stop. Never stop. Just keep on doing you, and just keep. And if people are going to criticize you, and the more successful you get, the more haters you're going to get, and that's that. So just never stop. Never stop.
Welcome to Get After It. My name is John Kay, and I am a professional musician, record producer, and lifestyle entrepreneur. In each episode of Get After It, I talk with an inspiring person with a powerful message to help you discover how to realize your true potential and become your most authentic self through positive intention and purposeful action. I'm truly grateful to those of you listening right now. So without further ado, let's get after it. Okay, my guest today is an accomplished chef of over 12 years who recently left his job at Wolfgang Puck's Pizzeria and Cucina in downtown Detroit in order to become the sous chef at Little Caesars Arena, an innovative, state-of-the-art arena and the new home of the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Pistons. I've known this gentleman since he first became a chef in 2005, and I've enjoyed watching his career blossom due to his intense focus, his relentless drive, and his dogged determination to reach the next level and grow as an individual. I am excited to have him on Get After It, especially since this is his first ever podcast appearance. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the focused, driven, and determined Chef Tony Making Food Matta. Tony, how are you, man? How's life treating you?
Doing pretty good.
I can tell because you got the new gig and everything going on, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. What's new and exciting beyond that right now? Anything?
No, just keeping it real. I'm doing my Airbnb thing.
That's right. That's right. You know what? And shame on me. I prepped for this, but I totally neglected to include the fact that you're renting out your place from time to time and doing Airbnb. Are you doing like your whole place or just right on, man? Yeah. How's that going?
It's going pretty good.
Now, why are you doing it so much? Is it something where you're out of town often, or you just you go stay somewhere with a friend while you're making money at home? Or?
No. Basically, when I decided to take the venture downtown, I went downtown, and my parents live downtown, and they were like, "Well, there's this house that's right next to us. So you should probably, move in there since you're gonna be working all these hours." I said, all right, we'll see what happens. And I ended up buying the house. Like, it was a short sale, but I ended up buying the house like a year later. Mm-hmm. And ended up being, we had a hard time finding out renters for our house that I live in right now in Westland.
Gotcha.
So I went to my mom and said, Mom, I was like, I seen this thing on the Facebook.
Right.
Let's try this. Let's try out this Airbnb thing. And she was like pretty skeptical about it. And I said, just give it 6 months. Just give it 6 months. And she said, all right, let's just try it out. We'll do it. And it's been pretty good. And like, I don't stay in the house.
Right.
I live in Westland, and I rent out the house out in Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got 2 homes.
Yes.
Look at you go.
Yeah.
A winter home and a winter home.
Yeah. I guess so.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Good for. So is it how? I don't want to say. you're probably not a baller from doing Airbnb, but
Yeah.
is it lucrative enough to not be negligible? Is the return on investment like, worth it overall?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. After everything's all said and done and paid off, I make pretty good money on it.
Right on.
It's pretty good, but it's a lot of work.
Right.
It's a lot of work. My mom, my dad, they help out. They watch the house. They maintain it. While I'm out there, they check in guests. If I can't check in guests, which being a chef, like sometimes I can't.
Right.
So I'm working all the time. But like now that I have this new job, it's kind of like 9 to 5, and I'm kind of like I could check these guests in, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I pay my mom a certain amount of money. X amount of money a week to clean, keep it in the family.
Sure.
She makes a little bit of money. My dad's retired. They make a little bit of money. I make a little bit of money, and it's good.
It's win-win-win.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
And are you saving like all your receipts and everything from
Yes.
doing everything? Because I have to imagine the clever person in me thinks like anything that you furnish that house with is a
Yes.
write-off.
Yes. everything
Okay.
is.
Okay. Right on. Good.
It's been very. I've got a big shoebox full of stuff, and like last year, I took like a $8,000 loss. But I mean that was just I was only rented it out for 3 months, and I had to pay my rent and all that
Yeah.
other stuff, and I put about $15,000 into the house as far as furnishing and everything like that. And I'm trying to keep it like the downtown Detroit feel. Hardwood floors, but then like I have like pictures of the skyline and things like that.
Sure.
To decorate.
Are you finding mostly out of towners are doing it? I mean, I know it's Airbnb, so maybe I'm not trying to be Captain Obvious here, but
Yeah.
do you have people that are just, hey, we want to stay in the D for a weekend and we're from Michigan, but we just don't,
Yeah.
we want to drop. Okay, right
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. So that they have like a super host type thing. And I've
Super host?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have more than 10 people stay, and you get 5-star reviews, then you are a super host.
Okay.
And that's in a quarter. And you have to have like your response rate has to be like 80%. There's all sorts of different like requirements that you have to make.
Okay.
So, and I've been this is the third quarter in a row that I'll be super host, and it's because of my mom and my dad and me, and we all work together as a team.
Yeah, team effort.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
dig it, man. And so now how deep into the Airbnb are you getting? Like, are you like diving into strategies about how to market it better
Yeah.
and things? Okay. Right
Yeah.
on.
As far as like being a chef, like I make pretty good money. But I want to make more money, and even though I'm working, 10, 12 hours, like my mind's always racing, and I always want to like I don't want to say be better than my parents, but I want to, if I do eventually decide to have kids, like I want to provide better for my kids. And
Sure.
then I also want to provide for my parents, because ultimately, if this house, with the Airbnb and stuff, if something happens, like I can just pay off that house, and then if I move out of state or get another chef job somewhere else, I could just be like, Mom, well, Airbnb paid for itself.
Right.
And I have a lot of guests who stay for 1 or 2 nights, but I've had a couple guests stay. The last guest stayed for 20 days.
Oh, wow. Right on.
20 days, and I'm charging anywhere roughly between 90 to 250 a night.
Wow.
And you have access to the whole house.
Right on.
So you get the living room, the dining room, the basement with a washer and dryer. You have the bedroom with a queen size bed. That's one bedroom, and then the parking. I have a security camera, 4 cameras, front door, back door, backyard, and then in the basement on my utilities. I put one in the basement, not to be like creeper, but I put one in the basement on my utilities because when I first got the cameras, I had an envision, and I was like, all right, well, in the basement, I'm going to try to put like some stuff, and I'm trying to put like a pool table, and like right now it was like a vending machine.
Sure.
So right now I put a vending machine in there, and that's going to
Which
kind
you
of
make money off. Too.
Yeah.
Right on.
And I got a really good deal on one, and I'm going to put like shavers, tampons, condoms, toothbrush, like things like that.
Hotel gift shop.
Yeah.
Wares.
Yeah.
Right on.
And I bought a quarter machine. It only works on quarters, but I mean, it's just a start.
Yeah.
So it's just a baby step. So like you can rent out the whole house anywhere from 90 to like 250, and there's a smart pricing tool, and it depends on what's going on in the city.
Sure. Okay.
So then that's just the one bedroom. Now, if you want me to open up the other bedroom, then it will be, an extra $25 because the cleaning fee will go up.
Sure.
And then if you have more guests, it's $25 per guest per night.
Right
So
on.
the more guests I have, I can make more money.
Okay.
So I have 2 rooms available right now that are queen size beds, and they're all brand new stuff. I have another one that's opened up, and it's only like a double day bed, and it's got like a nicer dresser in it, like a brand new dresser, but it doesn't have like the mirror, and like it's kind of like it's not as fancy as the other ones, I guess, but it's still nice.
Right on.
So I can accommodate up to 7 people. So I can probably charge, if I wanted to, maybe 300 a night, depending on how many guests there are,
Sure.
and depending on the day of week.
Sure. So it's not one and done. It's not a set flat rate all the time. There's a lot of options built in.
Yeah.
I've never done an
Yeah.
Airbnb personally, so this is all new to me. I'm a little ignorant when it comes to it.
It's a pretty good gig, and I can screen. People are like, "Oh, well, you're gonna have guests stay at your house," and you know what? Like working in the food industry and like working especially in the hotel, especially at the casino that I was working at, it was like really really good to see guests and interact and see how they take care of stuff, and I take all that into consideration. So when I have my guests, like I went and I bought little shampoos, little conditioners, and little soaps.
Sure.
And those are for the guests. Those are toiletries for the guests. When they come in, they're sitting there just like a hotel, and that's that. Now in the vending machine, I'll have extras that they can buy if they would like to, if they would. So the hospitality aspect, like I greet the guest, my mom greets the guest. I say, hey, or I'll text them. Like I had the guest who was staying tonight. I texted him on Sunday. I said, how you doing? Good evening. Are you excited for your stay in Detroit this Friday? What time do you plan on checking in? He responded back saying, I plan on being at 3. I said, okay, well, I don't have anybody staying that night before, so you can check in at 3. Usually check-ins between 5 and 7, but it's all right. I'll accommodate you. So it's pretty cool that I can like interact with these guests and accommodate them, and my mom really gets a good kick out of it.
Awesome. So how, in a typical 30-day month, how many of those days would you say are not booked?
For this month, 12.
Okay, so
12.
you're over 50%.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
But,
great.
As far as building that and like building your career and doing things, everything is in baby steps.
Yeah.
So you look at when I first got the house, I was like, okay. I was like, I want to do this. My mom said, okay. So we started off with one room. We had the one room. We started that off, and then we were like, all right, well, now I want to get like some paintings and get some stuff. So I got that feng shui, if you will.
No, absolutely, 100%. Look, dude, you walk around my house, I'm symmetry all over the place,
noticed,
dude.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do that. So then I started off with like, all right, well, I want to build my reviews. I'm just going to charge $70 a night. My cleaning fee will probably only be $20. So they're paying $90 plus the Airbnb fees, and that's that.
Sure.
So I started off small, got some good reviews, and then I started, I don't want to say nickel and diming, but I started raising up my price. Because then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to start getting this soap, and I'm going to start doing this. And then I started doing when I do my YouTube stuff out of there, like I've been transferring all my pots and pans and all my stuff out of my house where I live at right now, and I put it at that house. And then when I do my YouTube channel there, they have all that stuff too. So it's just like baby steps, and then like getting the reviews and like putting up the fence, and it's like an organic project, and that's kind of now it's like the other room. So now I got room number 2 up, and now I got room number 3 that's halfway up, and then there's room number 4. So I have the potential to make a lot of money on this, and then when I get the basement finished, it's good, and the thing is to pay off itself, and eventually if my parents want to move out of their house. Their house is already paid off, but my house is a little bit nicer. If they want, they can just, move over there, sell their property and whatever.
It's nice that you've got the consideration of your folks in mind.
Yeah.
That's excellent, man. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I want to start off by pretty much with every guest I have. First thing I do is Google them.
Yeah.
Because I never know what's going to come up. Sometimes they're the first thing, right? So you know what happens when you Google Tony Matta?
You get a doctor.
You actually get the president for Starbucks Global Channel Development.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually another guy that's famous in the food industry.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought that was kind of funny. Do me a favor. Just for the uninitiated in my audience,
Yeah.
please explain the difference between the head chef and the sous chef and the other crucial roles played in a high-end restaurant's kitchen.
Okay.
If just basic.
Okay. Well, usually it's a brigade system.
A brigade system?
Yeah,
Okay.
brigade system. So it's kind of like the military.
Okay.
So like in the military, you got your generals and lieutenants and
Mhm.
soldiers and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So the executive chef is the man. The executive chef is the highest way that you can go.
Okay.
Okay. So then after the executive chef,
Real quick, the executive chef, are they present in the kitchen in the restaurant all the time, or is this the
It-
type
it
of person
depen-
that's like, I set the menu for these few different
It
restaurants in my
depends.
chain? Okay.
it depends.
All
When I was working at the casino, you had an executive chef of the whole casino and the executive sous chef of the whole casino.
Ah,
So those guys were the top two guys, and they made all the decisions. Okay, and then from there you had other executive chefs of different outlets.
Okay.
So like Chef Joel was Joel Narenkoon, was a great chef. I learned a lot of stuff from him. He was the executive chef of Wolfgang Puck.
mhm.
Okay, so then from the executive chef from Wolfgang Puck, it went to sous chefs. So then it'd be like sous chefs, and there was three of us.
Mm.
So it was two sous chefs in the steakhouse, one sous chef in the Pizzeria Cucina. And the one in the Pizzeria Cucina was more of like chef de cuisine. So like I like had control of the whole kitchen basically.
Sure.
But the executive chef kind of inspired me and kind of guided me. I would bounce off ideas. Say, chef, I'm thinking about doing this and this and this. And he'd be like, well, is this Italian? How would you execute this? Would you like plate it this way? Would you plate it that way? And then we would bounce ideas off each other. And then I'd be like, all right, well, this is what's going to happen. So there's other executive chefs in corporates and restaurants like a Applebee's.
Mm.
So like the executive chef of like an Applebee's or something corporate like that would probably have like a region, and then they would have their chefs of the building, and then they would have their sous chefs. But I think they would just call them like assistant kitchen managers or kitchen managers.
Right on. So between the chef de cuisine and the sous chef, those are generally the two that are running the show in the kitchen, and then beyond
Yeah.
that, you've got other cooks and.
Yeah, and then you got under the
I'm really showing my ignorance card on this.
no,
one.
that's fine. Underneath like the sous chef, like you got chef de partie and like things like that. Certain different aspects that they'll take lead. You have like lead cooks, and then you'll have like your prep cooks or like your line cooks, and then that's how it will go. So it's just like a hierarchy. So if you're looking for answers, then you go to the next person up.
Sure. Cool. All right. I want to talk to you about working at Wolfgang Puck's, but before I do, I just give us 3 examples of things that most people would not know about life as a chef. What would surprise, like a couple things that would surprise people?
Well, one, you don't eat. That's it. You don't eat. It's very stressful.
I mean, you don't eat
Well, I mean,
because you're working so
you're
much.
working.
You have no time to stop eating.
I mean, I might be tasting stuff all day.
Well, yeah, as a
But
chef should.
like I'm tasting stuff, and then I don't really have time to like actually like sit down and prepare a meal. And some people might be like, oh, well, he's a chef and he eats all this and he does that and he eats fillets and all this. And it's like, well, no, I really don't. I might just eat some ramens, and I might not eat until the end of the shift.
Right.
And I might go home and I'm just so burnt out from working
Right.
that I might just want to throw on some ramen, eat that, and drink a beer and like whatever.
Right.
Another thing, a lot of like people like have like in the restaurant industry, like it's like riddled with drugs, alcohol, and things like that.
Really?
Especially in the restaurant industry. But like to be successful, like to be a successful chef, like you have to like stop all that. Like you have to like stop all that, and you have to focus.
Right.
Because if you want to get to the next step, you have to be able to pass a drug test.
Hmm.
You can't be out partying at night. until 3, 4 in the morning because you might have to get up and do a brunch service.
Sure.
You can't be doing that. And I've gone into work hungover before, and that sucks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That sucks.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Am I safe in assuming then that you just don't drink anymore? And you just
I mean, I do, but
because I know you go to concerts and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, oh yeah. But I mean, it's like you gotta pick it. Like you gotta kind of pick it.
Yeah.
Like if I know that I have tomorrow off, like tonight, I'm probably in a sports venue, maybe hit up sidelines. I'll ride my bike.
Right on.
Because the whole I'll Uber or Lyft, or ride my bike. Because the whole DUI and drinking and driving thing, I don't deal with that, and I don't like to deal with that. And you know what? I live so close to these other places that I would rather just walk. And in case in point, I was at this house party with this really cute girl. Sunday, and she was like, "Why aren't you drinking?" And I'm like, "Well, I got to get you two pretty ladies home." And then she was like, "Oh, I respect that." And then later she was like, "Well, I found another ride home, so why don't you start drinking some beers?" And I'm like,
I have to drive
honestly,
home.
I have to drive home.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I got to work tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Right.
So
okay. So does the fact that you can't be in the party vibe in social situations then is that we're getting real personal real quick, but does that hamper your romantic life in a way then? Or
no,
yeah, right on.
And then that's another thing. That's another thing. With being a chef and being dedicated, you have to really find that one girl that understands it. That understands it.
Yeah.
And usually the people that do get it are waitresses and bartenders. And my luck is waitresses and bartenders.
Right.
Which is fine. Which is fine with me. But then you kind of got to look at okay, well, I'm going to date this waitress bartender. She gets it. But then it gets to a point okay, is she a waitress and bartender? How long is she going to be a waitress and bartender? What is her next step? She has to have goals as well. And if she can't have goals, then there's no point even being with her. And I've had my fair share of girls and and bartenders and waitresses, but it's fun. But at the end of the day, getting old, I'm gonna be 35 this year.
Yeah, right on.
It's I want kids. I have an established career.
Yeah,
I have an established career.
Right.
I have stuff going for me. I'm not worried about that or money.
Right.
I mean, I'm still worried about money, but my thing is kids. So that's the next step. And then being a chef. Okay, well, when do I have time for kids? Now what do I want to do?
So now you need a woman who is comfortable being the stay-at-home mom and that is comfortable living on one income to be a stay-at-home mom. Because I already, and knowing you as long as I have, and I know we haven't really hung out, but your righteousness it permeates the air.
Yeah.
All right. And I think that knowing that you want kids and how important I can see that coming across, it's also important to you that they're taken care of and raised appropriately and all that yada yada. So because you don't have the time to do that, so it's like a double whammy. You got to find someone who gets it, isn't necessarily involved in the industry that you're in, and knowing the restaurant industry, drugs and alcohol are rampant.
Yeah.
So you have to have somebody. Oh, we got the fire department right behind us. Okay. Anyway, it's like a double whammy where you have to find the one that not only gets it, but also is comfortable. I don't want to say giving up their goals, but subordinating their agenda for the greater good. The hell? The damn air horn is going on outside, ladies and gentlemen. It's
all right.
Appropriate timing. This is actually my first evening podcast recording. Normally I do this during the day. Anywho, well, good on you that you're not hampered by it, but at the same time, that any random person isn't just gonna cut it.
It sucks, and I thought I found a girl, we were good, we dated for a couple of years, on and off, this and that, and you know who it is.
I think I know who it is,
and that worked out, but I think it's just she supported me, and she was very supportive when I got the job at the casino. She was very supportive, and I was like, oh my God, I love this girl, and she was very supportive of me, and then I just started just exploding with ideas and things that I want to do, and this and that, and this and that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that she was not on the same level, and she was good. But I think that we just phased apart, and it sucks because I love the girl, but I think we just kind of just phased apart. If something were to happen between us again, then it would be great. because honestly, I love her, but I'm trying to focus on myself.
Yeah, and to your point about turning 35,
Yeah.
I just turned 36 in
Yeah.
May, and we're on the downward slide
Yeah.
of the hill toward 40.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's you start looking at it,
Yeah.
and I don't know about you, but I know that once the 3 got in front of my age,
Yeah.
things started feeling differently.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah.
intrinsically, and I mean even physically.
Yeah.
I can't tie it on like I used to.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I know that if I party, or if I have a couple too many drinks,
Yeah.
the next day I'm not
Yeah.
going to want to work.
Yeah,
And
that's-
like you said, going into work hungover, I have the choice now
Yeah.
to not go into work
Yeah,
and not
yeah.
do whatever. But I hate that
Yeah.
because I will not do anything. I will chill, but
Yeah.
I'll read a book, I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
But to your point though, you're seeing the writing on the wall in so much, and you're looking at it like, in order for me to advance, I need to keep moving forward. And if the person isn't ready to come on this journey with me, or
Yeah.
be a partner with me in
Yeah.
this journey, then it's difficult. It's
And
absolutely
it's not
difficult.
it's not like a well, I'm better than you, you're better than me, and exactly what you said, to find a partner in crime, if you will.
Sure.
To go through this adventure in life, like whatever's going on with you, like I want to support you. Whatever's going on with me, please support me. We'll work together as a team. You do what you do, I do what I do. We'll meet somewhere in the middle.
Yes.
And if you have baggage, I understand it because I have baggage.
Everybody does.
And speaking of that, so like let's start off like when I first started cooking, and things like that.
Well, I was going to get to that in a little
Yeah.
bit.
Okay.
I actually, what I was going to say is, after those examples of things people wouldn't know, I wanted to ask you, working at Wolfgang Puck's Pizzeria and Cucina for over 2 years, what advantages or disadvantages come when working for a world famous chef's franchise? Did it come with any negatives that a random quote unquote no name restaurant,
Well, I guess like the level of professionalism and the level of like food that you have to come up with is just, it's up there.
standards?
And it's just stressful. Like, we're prepping stuff daily. We're doing stuff as fresh as we can. This is what we're doing. We're making fresh, but instead of making, some restaurants will make like a batch sauce of like an Alfredo or something like that. We're doing pan sauces.
Okay.
We're
You're
making
doing
it right
one
right
by
there.
one.
One by one. So like that saute station can get pretty busy, or like the pasta station can get pretty busy as well, because I might make a big batch, like a base sauce of TBG, tomato, basil, garlic, which is like a marinara, because
Sure.
from that's like one of like a tomato sauce is one of the 5 mother sauces, and from there you can make derivatives of that. So then you would make like a bolognese sauce, which is typically like a meat sauce.
Yep.
Or something like that. So that's like kind of like how it is, and like with like a you might make like a chicken stock, and then you might use that to make like a different kind of sauce. That you might make a bulk amount, but usually we're just doing pan sauces. And you know what? Like I've actually had the opportunity to work with Wolfgang, like side by side,
Righteous.
at least like 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
Okay.
He'd like to pop in his casino every once in a while,
Which is good.
When I first met him, I was kind of like. I first met him when I was working at Tap, and I was like, seeing him, and he came back, and he's like, "Where are the croissants?" And it's like 7:00 in the morning when I'm working like a day shift or a morning shift. I'm like, croissants? Like, I was like, he's wearing chef jacket. And I'm like, I didn't really recognize him.
Huh.
And he was like, "Where are the croissants?" And I was like, I don't know if I have any, but I can find out for you. And then he was like, "All right, find out." And he said it in his Austrian accent. And then we're walking to the back pantry area, and I was like, "Hey, you're that Wolfgang guy, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yes." And I was like, "All right, well, the croissants are right over there." And like that was that. And then 6 months later, I had the opportunity to work with him, and it was really cool. And like that group, the Wolfgang Puck group, is a really good group to work with. Those guys like Chef John LeGrone, Scott Juno, Lee Hefner. Those guys were some of the executive chefs from the Wolfgang Puck group. So they would come in and they would check in on us and, make sure that we're doing stuff. We would have to send out menus to them, and then we'd have to get approved by them, and then we'd have to get approved by the casino and like things like that. So like, it was kind of like, it's kind of like working together as a team. And it was kind of like, maybe the casino might want something different than the Wolfgang Puck group. And it was kind of like, well, let's just figure it out together. And It was good. It was good. They really understood our level and where we were at in the casino, working with the staff that we had to work with, because they're all unionized and things like that. So they understand what we were working with, and it was cool for those guys to actually like come in and like check in on us. And they weren't there to like, oh well, the executive chef from the Wolfgang Puck Group is here. He's gonna really like yell at you, and it's really like not like that. You see like Gordon Ramsay, like I get it, and I get what guys like him do, that's for entertainment. Like some cooks are like some chefs are like that.
Yeah, to your point, like with Gordon Ramsay, I used to watch Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares,
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And the difference between the Mark Burnett American produced shows
Yeah.
and the BBC
Yeah.
America or the BBC America shows,
Yeah.
night and day.
Yeah.
You watch those early shows
Yeah.
and you see him, you see him really caring about
Yeah.
these people. And
Yeah.
he goes in there and says, this is shite or what the fuck
Yeah.
is this or whatever. But it's not overblown and there's not, dramatic music highlighting and enhancing every single moment, to take you on this emotional roller coaster. You can actually watch the guy look at who's in front of him, whether it's one of the first episodes is like a kid right out of high school that didn't really know what he was doing, didn't even know how to make an omelet.
Yeah.
But he finds out, hey, you don't even know how to make an omelet. Okay, we need to start you from scratch
Yeah,
then.
we need to start learn how to make omelets.
And get you to a point where within the next few days we can reopen this restaurant.
Yeah.
To whereas in the American version, it's just F this and F that,
Yeah.
you suck, this is
Yeah.
crap, throwing it away.
Yeah.
It's overblown, but I feel like he's probably not like that in
Yeah.
real life. I feel like he's more like the original English guy. But
Those guys are really good, and they taught me a lot. I'm really grateful for the opportunity that the Wolfgang Puck Group has given me, because like actually, when I was dating that one girl who I was talking about earlier, we went to Vegas for a wedding, and I just so happened to talk to one of the chefs from Cut, which is the premier steakhouse, the Wolfgang Puck Steakhouse in Vegas. And I said, hey, chef, I'm in Vegas. Do you mind if I come in and stage for one day? And staging is just working for free.
sure.
And he said, yeah, come in. See you at 9 a.m. I said, all right, Jeff, I'll be there at 9 a.m. We worked 9 until I think it was like 11 at night. And it was really cool because they're not unionized, and like those people really want it, and they're there because they're there, and they want to cook. Sometimes like working with the union, people feel like they're entitled, and they're entitled with that, which is fine. The union is the union. That's fine. I don't want to trash that. But-
Unions started to protect the employees from getting screwed over by the company.
Yes.
And now it's since transmogrified,
Yes.
it seems, into how can we screw the company before they screw us.
Yeah.
Instead of just, hey, there's a trust factor here that we're in a union. You've agreed to hire our union workers. We trust you. You're not going to screw us. We're not going to screw you. That's why we have the union.
Yeah.
But it's become a take advantage. I'm entitled.
Yep.
I
Yep.
need my 15-minute break.
Yep.
I feel you.
And I feel like,
and unions are good.
Yep.
I'm going on
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
Unions are good.
Yeah.
Some unions, the
Yeah.
way they're run, not so good.
Yeah.
But unions on the whole.
Yeah. So doing that in Vegas was really cool. Like it was like really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. And the amount of respect that they gave me, like I get a lot of respect here, but like they were just like, oh my God, the chef came from Detroit. He's like working with us. And like, I'm like working on a line with them. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm telling them, I'm one of you. I am one of you today. Just tell me what you need me to do. You need me to chiffonade out some basil. You need me to Benoit's cut this. What do you need me to do? Like, I will do it. Yeah. And they're like, chef, you don't need to do this. I'm like, I want to. And I was like floating around all the stations and stuff. And it was good. It was good. And then I proceeded to walk back and walk down the strip, stopped at a couple of bars, and that was it.
Right.
It was good. It was good. It was good. And then went to the wedding, and it was fine. It was good.
Yeah, you've been public about your love for your Wolfgang Puck Cucina family.
Yeah.
What was it hard making the decision to take the new gig at Little Caesars Arena, knowing you'd be leaving that family behind?
Well, all right. So when I started at the Cucina, it was very, I don't want to say broken. I don't want to badmouth whoever was running it before me, but I think that people just got complacent. I think that's the word.
Sure.
With their jobs. And then one of the best things that ever happened to the Cucina. And I had one-on-ones with a couple of my team members before I decided to make the move. That the first 6 months was kind of rough being over there, just because everybody was set in their ways. Everybody was kind of set in their ways. I'm only working this station. I'm only the pasta cook. I'm only the saute cook. I'm only the pantry cook. I'm only the grill cook.
That's not my job.
That's not my job. He's a cook 1 or he's a cook 3. He should be on that. I'm a cook 2. I shouldn't be doing that. I'm a cook 1. I shouldn't be on that. And it's like, you guys are all cooks. Just man up and be a cook. It was very hard. It was very hard for me, and there was a couple of days that I didn't want to go and work. Like, to be honest with you, like there were some team members that just pushed me to the limit, and in a traditional kitchen, like I would have said something and probably would have told them to get lost and you get out of here. You don't deserve this position. Sure. Get out of here. You're fired. But I overcame that, and one of the best things that happened was when we had a shift bid. Okay, so we had a shift bid, and so there's 2 kitchens. There's a steak and there's a cucina. So it just so happened that a couple of cooks from the cucina wanted to go because they had 10-hour premium shifts at the steakhouse. So they wanted to go over to get the 10-hour premium shift so they can have 3 days off. They'd still be working their 40 hours, right?
Sure.
Because for union contract, 40 hours. But they would have 3 days off. So some of those cooks had so much seniority in the cucina that they wanted to go over there. So when that happened, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise. I got Brenda and I got Cecil. Those were like the main saute cooks from the steakhouse. And I was like, oh man. I got the main saute cooks from the steakhouse. Yeah. Like over here. I was like, this is going to be great. And then when they came over, it was like kind of like fresh air. Yeah. And then one of the other outlets in the casino closed down. So then there was another shift bid. So then we got some other people in. So then it was kind of like, okay, well, let's see if this guy works out. So we had like a couple of cooks that came in and they moved around. And then finally, like the one guy, TJ, he was a really good grill cook, but he took another opportunity. This Matt guy, he was a really good grill cook. He was like a roundsman, if you will. And a roundsman in the brigade system is somebody who knows how to do everything. Sure. He knows everything. Sure. A utility player. Yeah. Right on. Yeah. So he was like the roundsman, but he got a job at a factory making more money, because he wanted to settle down with his girl, and which is fine. So when that happened, then I finally got like a set crew. I got like and then I got Rafiq, who was like just an awesome like grill cook. He was like, man, that guy was good. So like the only real people that I had from the original crew when I first worked there was the pasta cook and the pizza cook.
Holy shit! Look outside.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Anyway,
was the pasta cook and the grill cook. So those guys were cook 3s. So like I didn't really want to mess with those guys, and those guys just like be on pizzas. You're really good at pizzas, and he was really good at pizzas. Pastas. You just have a bad attitude, but you can just stay on pastas. I won't, whatever you want to do, guy, just stay on pastas. Give me mean looks. Don't even say hi to me. This guy didn't even say hi to me. First 6 months that I worked there, I'd say hi. He didn't even say hi. Now that's just rude, and that's just whatever. But God bless his soul, and you know what? That's fine.
You're right.
So what I did was I started cross training my team. All right. Well, you're going to work on this for this day. You're going to work on that for this day. We're going to work on it together. And we started building like more of a team, And, the grumpy guy in the corner who was on pastas, we actually started to get along a little bit, and that was really good. And, things like just started really gelling together. And it was kind of just like, well, let's, work together as a team. And the guy in the corner who was grumpy, like he started becoming like a quarterback. And they would kind of follow his lead, but they would follow my lead as well. But, every good coach needs a good quarterback.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah.
There's no Belichick without Brady.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know who those guys are, but that's
not a sports fan.
Yeah,
okay,
no.
Go ahead.
But so like that was that. And then when it came down to it, I it was like kind of like, well, what do I want to do? Well, one, like the money was a little bit better at the arena, and 2, like I've never really opened up a restaurant. Okay, so I've never opened up a restaurant.
Like,
Like,
you didn't open up Albert's?
no,
You're
no.
like
when-
you were like only a couple months behind.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, when Albert's opened, it was like Priscilla, and she was a kitchen manager, and like I was just so far in like alcoholism and stuff like that, so it just didn't really matter. And it was
Sure.
just like whatever.
You're in your early 20s.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean-
yes. But I had some assistants, and even when Chef Darren came along, he was his kitchen. But like I've never really had the opportunity to like be there. It's like always been like set, and this is how we're doing it. And then like, well, now like I'm working with this executive sous chef Drew Hall, who I kind of like. Before I got hired, like I kind of like searched him a little bit, and he opened up 1919 in Lambeau. I think that's the name of the restaurant.
Okay.
So he was over there. He was at this fish place out in Chicago, and I seen his resume, and he worked his way up. From like sous, head cook to sous chef to executive sous chef to chef. So that's good to like see people like progress themselves. And like but I had to take the opportunity, and you know what. It sucked that I had to leave my team, and I still text them. The one girl, Brenda, she was texting me today. Hey, how you doing? My husband, I need a job. Can you help me out? It's like, yeah, but he wants to work 6 a.m. to 2. I don't have a shift for him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
And then one of my old prep cooks, Jasmine, she was my prep cook, and she was my go-to girl. Like, she was my go-to girl. Like, I'd come in, everything, the walk-in would be straight. She would prep everything up. She would be like I'd come in, and she made my job so much more easier. Just her, just being there. And like she called me, and she was in an accident about a year ago, and she wasn't able to return back to work, and that was kind of traumatic on my life. All these things like impact my life in the way that I think.
Sure.
So she got in an accident, and it was horrible. And then when I visited her in the hospital like the next day, like she was all banged up, and it was sad. I cried a little bit. But the team got a little bit of money for her, and then when Christmas came around, like we collected some more money, and we gave her, I went over and I visited her, and gave her, her kids, we bought some stuff for her kids, and like, it was really good. And like, she called me up. She was like, I heard you quit, what am I to do when I come back? Cause she was on medical leave. She was able to get her job. She was able to get her job back. She's like, what am I to do? I was like, well, I'm sorry. I don't really work
Right.
there anymore, but if you want a job with me, I'll get you a job with me.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Awesome.
And those prep cooks, like I had another prep cook, Vicky, and she was like really good. She was really good, and she was like almost as good as Jasmine, like below. Like Jasmine was
You're
like
that Vicky. You got to step your game up, girl.
yeah.
That's great, though.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was kind of a no-brainer, but still, it doesn't feel good leaving your family behind.
No, and I always try to go above and beyond, and I'm kind of I don't want to say emotional guy, but I'm kind of like sensitive.
You're emotionally intelligent. Maybe.
Yeah, well, I guess.
Yeah.
So what I did was, what you don't have to do these things. Like when you leave, you just say, all right, well, I leave. I quit. Sorry, guys, I'm out.
Yeah.
But my team, my like 8 individuals that I had, those are my team. And over the course of, even though they rotated out, but the last team that I had, I want to say was the best team that I've actually ever worked with.
Awesome.
And what I did was, before I left, like I decided to, well, you know what, I'm gonna have the last word with these guys. And so what I did was I wrote them all a letter.
Individually.
Individually, I wrote one for everybody, saying, hey, pleasure working with you. But like individually, I wrote them all. I typed it up. And I wrote them all a letter, and I said, hey, this, and this. This is what I took from working with you. This is what you'll be at. And like, this is where, all you gotta do is work on this, thank you for letting me be a part of your team. And then like the ending was all the same on all of them. If you ever need anything in your personal life or in your professional life, you can contact me no matter what.
Right on, man.
So, and that was cool. And I didn't give them to them, when they left. Like my last day was Sunday. They came back on Wednesday. I put them all in like these little cups that I had, and I put them in the envelopes in the cup. So when they walk in on Wednesday, they'll have that.
Right
which was pretty cool.
So they just got that 2 days ago.
Oh no, they got that a while
okay.
ago.
Right on.
Yeah.
Pardon.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right. Well, talk about the new gig at Little Caesars Arena.
Little Caesars.
Yeah, have you been? You've been inside the facility.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What impresses you about the facility most so far? Because everyone's talking about how it's just a state of the art, innovative arena.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculously big. So like, okay, so we talked about the brigade system.
Yeah.
Earlier. Okay, so of the whole arena, there's the one executive chef, Chef Pastor. So he oversees all the chefs. He's that guy. So then there's 3 executive sous chefs. Okay, and then there's so those guys oversee different departments, like the East and West Suites, and then like the one who oversees the Made in Detroit bar and the marketplace, and there's one that's in clubs, part of the players clubs and stuff like that. So there's those 3 of those guys. Okay, and then under there's other sous chefs that like I'm under Chef Drew, and then where I'm going to be working at is going to be called Made in Detroit. Okay, so
is that Kid Rock's brand?
Yeah,
God
yeah.
damn it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Holy shit! 1 second. I gotta look outside. This wind is. Cause I got a canopy out here, and I don't want it to blow over. All right, we'll be all right. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Right, Ellen Schaller. Everything's fine. Anywho.
So Kid Rock.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Kid Rock.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rock. Please do not dismiss Chef Matta because of my disdain for what it is you do. But yeah, sorry. It just bugs me that he's opening Little Caesars Arena with 6 shows.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and now it makes sense. But it makes sense to me now that I understand. I totally forgot that Made in Detroit is his brand, and there's a Made in Detroit restaurant in the building.
Well, it's a high-end sports pub.
Okay. So he obviously owns or has a controlling interest in the Made in Detroit brand, which now there's a sports pub, and he's opening the Little Caesars Arena with 6 back-to-back shows. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I
just have it just bugs me.
I mean, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
I just think that when you're opening a new place, okay, is he going to sell out those 6 shows?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
Who's going to Kid Rock shows?
People.
What kind of people are going to Kid Rock shows?
People are going to Kid Rock shows.
Yes, they are. I feel like it should have been like a Drake but it's like what you might as well have Bob Seger play. It's Kid Rock.
Yeah.
But that's me, and this is my podcast, so I get to have all the opinions I want. People anyway. All right, so Mr. Rock, thank you for hiring Mr. Matta. Anyway, go ahead. So you're working to make Detroit.
As far as I know, like he has some sort of something with it. I don't know what the logistics are with whatever.
It's not your business.
Yeah. I just
you're there as chef.
So it's going to be called Made in Detroit.
Okay.
And it's what their brand calling it is a high-end sports pub. It's going to have like a little stage from what I understand. It's going to seat about 200 to 300, I think.
Okay.
And so it will be the pub, and then it will be the kitchen, and then it'll be like a marketplace type area. Now, this is going to be in this area, like going parallel with Woodward. Okay, so when you're dining in, from what I understand, and when we were in there the other day, I was looking out, and if I would be looking out the window, I'd be looking at Woodward. Okay, and this place is going to be open all year round. Like it's going to be all year round, and then there will be like other like shops and other things that will be along Woodward that will go along with it. So the arena is actually like the arena, and it's like it's so nice in there. It is like it's so nice. Like you walk around, like, and then there's like a concourse that goes around it, and then it's anywhere from like 30 to like 90 feet in diameter, and like you can access, and it's covered by a canopy.
Oh, right,
like a kind of like a canopy type thing.
It's better than Joe Louis Arena where it's like 30 feet, like all the way around.
Yeah,
it's congested, bottlenecks, and all that. Yeah. Anyway,
So that's where it's going to be at, and I'm really excited to be a part of it, and really excited to be part of the team. The executive chef, Chef Drew Hall, has done a really good job coming up with the menu. He like the stuff that he's doing. It's pretty much all like at scratch, meaning at scratch is that we're really not going to get like anything from like cans, or all of our dressings are going to be pre-made. Onion rings are going to be hand battered. The fries are going to be fresh cut fries. So like the only thing that we might actually put in the freezer is maybe something that we prep. like maybe a day ahead of time that like has to be frozen, that we can throw in the deep fryer. Maybe something like that. But as far as everything else, everything is fresh. Like everything is so like fresh, and it's not. That's why they call it like a high end sports pub, because it's not going to be your typical like getting from the chicken tenders that you get from the freezer and drop into the fryer.
Yes.
You know, you're not going to get, like you're not going to have like frozen burgers. Like all our stuff is going to be fresh burgers.
Right.
You know?
Are you now when you're? This is personal interest. When you're frying, are you frying in lard, or are you frying in beef tallow, or anything? Or are you guys doing the veggie oil and all that stuff?
I mean, there's different things. At Puck, we did peanut oil.
Okay.
You know, but I mean that stuff, $50-$60 for 35 gallons or 35-pound jug. Like that's
silly.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And it takes 1.5 to fill a fryer. You just do the math. You got to change it out every other day.
Right.
Over there, I think we're doing with some sort of probably soy oil, something like that. Soybean oil. We get some samples in. We're still trying to figure out what we're doing.
Right.
As far as the oil.
Sure.
But like. Nowadays, everybody wants like gluten free and like soy free.
A lot of health.
Like,
Yes. It's part of the reason I ask. My girlfriend works at Mercury Burger Bar in Corktown, and they fry everything in lard. And she's telling me she gets people coming in there. Do you have another fryer? She goes, no, we fry everything in lard. Okay, well, is there a way that you guys can fry? No, we fry everything in lard. You know what I mean? So no, that's cool. So when does Made in Detroit open then to the public? Or is it going to be after the arena is officially open?
No, they are speeding along on it. They are speeding along on it. Like I said, I was in there the other day, and it's just coming along. It's coming along, and what we want to be open by the 12th. Because that's the first shell. That's the first
of this month?
No,
September. Right. Okay.
September.
Right.
And I'm trying to build a good team. And I've done a lot of interviews. I did a lot of interviews the last couple of weeks, and besides like the menu, like the chef has just been plugging away at the menu. This guy's just crazy, like with his stuff that he's doing, and he's so organized and so like prepped up that I thought I was organized, and then I see his stuff, and I'm like, you're just a little bit more organized than me, but that's cool. That's cool. Making as far as like making menu books for every single station, and stuff like that. So like we are gonna probably be doing some sort of orientation with the new hires that we have at the end of July, and then August we'll probably have some training, and then September we'll probably like bring them in. But it's all like kind of what we're doing, and it's kind of like. I don't want to say as we go, but like
Sure.
we're trying to figure it out a little bit. But tentatively, like that's how things are supposed to go.
Sweet.
And we're supposed to be opening up on the 12th, and we will be opening up on the 12th.
Awesome. Are you guys planning on doing a soft open or anything? I know some restaurants do that.
Yeah, okay. I was just at Ford's Garage. Ford's Garage out in Dearborn.
Okay.
And
where's that at in Dearborn?
On Michigan Avenue, right past Oakwood. On the right-hand side, there's a car dealership.
Yeah, right past Westbourne Market there.
Yeah, it's right across. Yeah, yep. On the right-hand side.
Righteous.
Chef Darren, who used to be the chef at Albert's, he's one of the consulting chefs, kitchen managers over there.
Awesome.
And they had a soft open kitchen manager, or friends and family. Kind of had to make the reservation and stuff like that, and it was actually pretty cool. Actually, Katie Gazdecki was working over there because I guess she went over there.
Oh, she's working there.
Yeah.
How's she doing?
She's doing good. She's doing good. She had that kid.
Yeah, she had that kid.
Yeah, she had that kid.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's go back. Take us back. Where did you grow up? What were the socioeconomic conditions like? What did mom and dad do? And what was school like? Just take us up to the point where you first discovered your love for cooking.
It was like I always worked in a restaurant, and I've always like starting off dishwashing. 13 working at Ramshorn.
Go back further.
Go back further.
Growing up, yeah.
Growing up. I want to say growing up. Growing up was pretty good. Me and my brother, we were pretty cool. But he's typical older brother. Might beat me up a little bit. Mom and dad. Mom didn't really work. Mom always stayed at home. Mom always made sure that we were good. Okay. That's what she did. She always cooked dinner. She always, did stuff, made sure she ran the house. My dad, maintenance guy. That's what he did. He graduated high school, never really went to college, went into NAM, had to go over there.
Sure.
And then he did some technical training over there, from what I understand. Then he came back, thankfully. Came back.
Right.
Yeah. Came back, met my mom. He kind of knew my mom, growing up a little bit and stuff. They kind of knew each other kind of floating around in the same circles, but never really like hooked up until after he came back. Then they, whatever happened with them, they,
They
obviously
connected.
Yeah.
Right.
So my parents, my mom and dad, my dad lived downtown in the house that he's living in right now. He lived in.
Oh, wow.
And so on Martin Luther King in '96. And in that area at that time was pretty bad. And my dad's dad, my grandpa, had like a party store slash house, and that's where they lived at, and it was Danny's General Store.
Yeah.
And my grandpa's name was Dan. So that was the general store, but it just so happened that the general store burnt down when I was pregnant, or not when I was pregnant, my mom was pregnant with me, and then we moved into the house across the street, and we were living downtown. So then it came up to about, I think we were like 5 or 6, and I vividly remember my mom like saying, "We got a low crawl." And we're like, "What do you mean you got a low crawl?" And it's like, "We got a low crawl on the ground because there's gunshots going off." And then it kind of came to this situation like, well, where are we going to school? We don't want to go to Detroit Public Schools. Well, let's use your grandma's address. She lives in Livonia. We're going to go to Livonia Public Schools. Went to Grant for Head Start. And then they bought the house in Westland where I'm currently living at now.
Okay.
So they bought that house, and then went to Cooper, went to Emerson. Now growing up, my dad is a hardworking guy. Like he's everything that I want to be is my dad. Like he's not a bag of shit. He's a great dad. He's like, he works. And he always made sure that he had the money to get the food on the table that my mom made. But like, we were kind of lower middle class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Ditto.
Like food stamps, things like that. I didn't really get to go on. We never went on that family vacation. Didn't really get to go to field trips. But the family life was good. But then again, like my parents, they were at some points they would like to drink a little bit too much. Well, that was kind of having an effect on the family, and then it was kind of like, well, okay, let's quit drinking. And my mom said, "Dad, we have to quit drinking." And my dad was like, "Okay." So they quit drinking, they sobered up, which was good. It was probably
fantastic.
which was probably
That both of them came to that realization together. Usually it's one partner in the relationship really wants to do it, but is waiting for the other partner to go with them before they take the plunge.
Maybe they stopped drinking, but they might have, smoked a little bit, but like whatever, they stopped, and like seeing that like from an early age and like that, it's kind of like, well, fuck, like these, like my aunts, uncles, everybody's just getting all drunk. I just remember always having a 30-pack of Busch in the fridge.
Okay.
So that happened, and then like middle school happened. I was like lashing out, I guess. Towards being lower middle class and just not having shit.
Sure.
And
you're feeling resentful.
Yeah, and I got into trouble, started smoking weed, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, and there's influences from friends and
Sure.
and just whatever. Like,
Sure.
just fuck it. So like that happened, and then like I was like constantly on probation, like from
With your parents?
No.
With the law.
With the law.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Constantly on probation with the law from the time I was like 13 up until I was about 23. Just on and off probation. I just remember I got arrested in middle school because I found a joint in like a film container. Remember when I had film containers?
Yeah.
Well, I found a joint.
The younger
inside,
listeners probably don't know.
Yeah.
What do you mean, film? What's film?
Yeah. I found it in a film container, and like I had it, and like I was going to smoke it with my buddies after work, but I was smoking a cigarette at the bus stop. Mind you, I was in 8th grade. Smoking a cigarette at the bus stop, and then somebody said I was smoking weed at the bus stop. They searched my locker. Then my one buddy thought it'd be funny, saying that I had a kilo of cocaine in my locker.
Phenomenal.
And then I got some street cred, I guess.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All important street cred.
And I got arrested like in right in the middle of like B lunch.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like
They came into the cafeteria.
No.
I was gonna
Like
say.
they were passing. Like it was like passing time for B lunch. It was like B and C was like the busiest lunch, and there's this passing time. Oh, there goes Tony. being arrested.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so that kind of sucked, and I didn't really learn. Like I didn't really learn, and getting MIPs like when I started being like 18, 19,
Right.
still smoking weed, and then it was kind of like, dude, I was on probation in Garden City, Livonia, and Dearborn,
Wow.
and that's kind of like I'm like, dude, like what the fuck,
Mhm.
like what am I doing, like kind of like with my life?
When did you have that realization? 23?
I think it was about 20. Yeah, I think it was about 22, 23. Like I'm just like, dude, like what am I doing? And I was at that time I was working at DeLuca's restaurant, and I was
Warren and Inkster?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right on.
And I was a dishwasher, and I was dating this girl Lisa, and me and Lisa were really tight, and then we got a job at the Henry Ford Museum, and then I moved to Dearborn, and that was like really really tight, and but then like me and Lisa broke up. And that sucked. That sucked. I don't know if you remember her. Did you go to Garden City, right?
I did not. I went to
Oh, you
Churchill.
went to Churchill, yeah.
But
Yeah.
the guys I was in a band with
Yeah.
all through high school, they went to Garden City, and
Yeah.
sometimes I would actually skip school
Yeah.
at Churchill to
Yeah.
go to school at Garden
Yeah,
City to
yeah.
hang out with them.
Yeah. This girl, Lisa. Unfortunately, she was the first love that I ever had, which is great. It was great. But unfortunately, stuff happened with her, and it didn't work out with me and her. And like when I started at the Henry Ford Museum, that's what I worked under Chef Alex Garza, and I was like, all right, this guy fucking knows what he's talking about. He's like energetic, he's like good, like, and he talks to you. Like he's not like an asshole chef. Like he talks to you, and he's like really cool. He's like really cool with me, and like I was just part time, and but he always tried to give me shifts, and he seen something in me, which was good,
Mhm.
and that was that, and ended up going to Howells. You ever been out to Howells when Howells was out there out in Dearborn, right behind Bailey's?
Howes or Howells?
Howells.
No.
Well, it was like a small hole in the wall bar right behind Bailey's.
Okay.
And I used to go there all the time when I lived down there. And,
Gotcha.
me and Lisa broke up. It fucking sucked. She was banging somebody else on the other end of the village, like another cook. Oh my God, it sucks. So I'm drinking all the time. And
Like you do.
Yeah. And Chef, I was prepping up for this party. It was like 5,000 people, and it was out in the village. It was out in Greenfield Village because that's where I was working. And they said, or I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go to the bar. And at this point, I was trying to get over her, so like I was hooking up with this girl that I knew that I went to school with, and I was like, okay, well that's fine. Like I'll go drink with her. She wants to drink. We get drunk. And then 1:00 rolls around. I was supposed to be to work at 9 a.m. And I was like in the union, but I wasn't in the union. I had like union rights, like as far as like points, but that was about it. So then I was at like 20, I don't even know, 25, 26, 28 points, whatever. So I called up the chef. It was 4 hours after my shift, so it was considered a no call, no show.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was 5 points. I said, Chef, do you want me to come in? He said, well, unfortunately, Tony, you reach your points, and I'm gonna have to let you go. He's like, you know what? He's like, you're a very good worker. I think you'll be good this someday. You can use me as a reference, but you can't work for me ever until you get your shit together.
Hmm.
And I said, all right, Chef. So that's when I started going back to school for graphic design, and I was still drinking. And then
Back to school. So did you start school right after high school?
I started going to school for graphic design.
Oh, okay, right on.
It took me a minute after high school. So then I started going to school for graphic design, and then like I'm like, all right, well this is kind of cool. And then like one day I'm walking by Albert's, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this place? I've been living in Garden City, Westland forever. I don't know, what is this? And it's got that blue sign, Albert's on the alley. I'm like, all right, Albert's. Go in, talk to Priscilla, and I'm like, hey, you guys need a cook? And Priscilla's like, yeah, we're probably going to fire this guy later on tonight. So when do you think he can work? And I was like, well, I can start whenever you want me to start. And so she was like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. We'll give you a call. So then about a week later, she calls me up on Friday night. She said, hey, can you work pizzas? I was like, well, I work pizzas at DeLuca's a little bit, but kind of messing around. She's like, can you work the pizza station? I said, sure, put me in Pizza Land. I'll be all right. So she puts me in pizzas, and then Friday night, we're busy, we're getting slammed, and I made it through. And then that was that, and I was hired at Albert's. It was pretty cool. And then I started making more money at Albert's, and then I just said, well, screw school. I'm gonna drop out of school. You know, so it was kind of like, all right, well, I'm just gonna drop out of Henry Ford. You know, like whatever. And at that point, I was seeing these guys who were like, I was in graphic design. These people were just doing crazy shit, and I'm just like, I can't compete with that.
Okay.
You know, like they're doing stuff, and I'm just like, I can't even.
Were you always an artist? What
Yeah.
made you? Okay.
Yeah.
What made you go into graphic design?
Just the love of lettering.
Lettering.
Spatial, the space between letters. As a kid, I would always draw letters, make up my own alphabets. You know, I would draw like as stupid as it sounds, like tribal tattoos.
No, it's not stupid at all. It's creative.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
excellent.
And like signs and like banners and like things like that. Like I like how things flow together, and it was like balanced rhythm, center of interest, and that was really good. But I seen that it was way hard to get in that field, especially in Michigan. And like at the time, I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna like. And I wasn't confident. I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking make it.
Okay.
I'm done. Like, fuck that. I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna make $400 an hour or $400 a week cash.
Right.
And I'll be fine. Yeah, I'm making great money. This is great. So I started working at Albert's, and it was just part-time cook / barback. I think that's when we first met.
Yeah.
At Albert's, and it was really good. Like Albert's was really, really good, and I met a lot of good people from Albert's. And I worked there for 9-10 years.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And like some of the girls that I used to work with, like Karen Donow, Katie Gazdecki, like those girls are like solid, like girls that like
Good people.
Yeah, they're good people. Like Brian Welsh, like Thomas Clare, Priscilla Shea, like she like the kitchen manager. Darren Thompson, Mike Walls, like all those guys. Like I met everybody that like I would consider like a family, like there, like my first family, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
And then it kind of like, I was there for about 5 years, and, I was still drinking a lot, and, it was always drinking lemon drops with no drops, and it would just be straight vodka, and going next door and drinking a half pint, getting a half pint, because, I thought I was making all this money, but then I figured I want to drink all the time.
Right.
Well, I don't have enough money to buy all these shots, so I would go next door to Save on Drugs or Andrews or whatever it was called, and buy half pint for $2 of Mohawk,
right?
Slam that in the bathroom after work, and then drink some tall boys,
Right.
Yeah. So that was my life,
partying
and ramen noodles, and that was my life for a while, and then I got like passed up for promotion. Priscilla ended up leaving Albert's,
yeah,
and she ended up leaving, and they promoted this other guy, and I'm like, dude, this guy fucking doesn't know what he's talking about. Like he doesn't know. Like I know these things, but like this guy doesn't know. And like I'm like, all right, whatever, Steve. Like whatever, dude. It's your bar, and whatever. God bless your soul. So he was doing all right, but
everything changed after his dad died.
Yeah.
We don't need to get into all that.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed. I'm almost ashamed that I know so much about that whole situation because I don't even fucking work there.
Yeah.
It was my watering hole for a hot minute though. Yeah.
So Scott ended up like this guy, like he had some balls on him. Like he just like one day, like he told me, he was like, hey man, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but he's like, you know how much Priscilla was making? Like, yeah, she's making like X amount of dollars. And he was like, well, the owner kind of doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know how to run the books. I just kind of went in there and I gave myself a raise. I said,
oh, snap.
I said, are you fucking kidding me? He said, yeah. He's like, I do what she does. And I'm like, okay. Like, this is how he made soup one day. He took raw broccoli, a can of cheese, and put it together and said, this is potato, broccoli cheddar soup. I was like, all right, dude, like, whatever. So I stopped, like, kind of, like, carrying him. I stopped. And then after I stopped, the food quality started going down, but I was always prideful in my job. And then chef, we were like, well, I guess they're going to hire a chef. So they hired Chef Darren. And after they hired Chef Darren, like everything just kind of just changed for me. It was kind of like, what am I doing? this guy's coming in. And at first, I was like, fuck this guy. This guy, he never went to school. He didn't go to culinary school. This guy don't know what the fuck he's Laffrey Steakhouse. What the hell is Laffrey Steakhouse? I don't know what that is.
Now, had you started going to culinary school at that time?
Not at that point.
Okay.
Not at that point.
So then so let's get real. How are you going to point a finger at him being like, oh, he didn't go to culinary school when you didn't at that time?
Well, I guess at that point I was just cocky.
Sure.
Know? And like I'm just like, well, this guy, at that point I'd be like, well, and I was kind of naive, I guess. I figured that all chefs needed to go to school and all chefs needed to be taught and
Sure.
this and that. And but Chef Darren ended up being like a really good mentor to me. And then it kind of came to a point where I was living in this apartment and this and that and hooking up with these girls and this and that, and it was great. But then it came time to where my brother was having his second kid. Okay, my brother's having his second kid, and Savannah.
And how much older is your brother than you?
2 years.
Okay.
Well, a year and a half.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
right on.
So he's right. We're right around the same age. So I always thought that I'd get somebody pregnant way before him, but whatever. So he ended up having his second kid. My mom calls me up. She says, Tone, she says, I know that you make all right money or kind of good money at Albert's. I need you to help us out. She's like, I know you have your own apartment. I know this and that. I know you can pay your bills and this and that. Vic just lost his job. He's having a kid. The mom, Trisha, just lost her job. We need your help. And I said, well, I'd be a dick if I would say no. So I said, all right, well, when do you want me to move in? I talked to my apartment complex. I said, hey, I need to move out within the next couple of months. I know that I'm still got months on the lease. And they were like, well, you've always paid your stuff on time. We'll let you slide. We'll let you slide. It won't be anything. And I was like, all right, well, that's fine. They're like, that's cool. I told them the whole situation. So I moved in with my brother, and then, kind of getting drunk over there and going home late at night was kind of different because there was, he has another kid.
It's a family, yeah.
Yeah, he has another kid. So, they're kind of...
They're tight?
No, they're just kind of sliding off.
Oh, okay, right.
So,
Headphones.
it's different, like, because, there's Ryan and Savannah, two little girls, and, he already had Ryan, and Ryan was, I think, 2 at the time. Or 3 at the time because they're 3 years apart. And, it's kind of like me getting all drunk and then going upstairs. I lived upstairs. Like, it was kind of just like sneaking in. I felt like I lived with my parents.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like, I just got all drunk one night and fell asleep on the porch. And brother comes out and he's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And if it wasn't for my brother, like, we get along, but like, if it wasn't for him, like, pushing this push for me, then I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And he was kind of like, what are you doing with your life, man? And I said, well, I don't know. He's like, dude, you like to cook. You've been in the restaurant forever. Like, you need to fucking do something. I said, all right, well, what do I need to do? And he said, well, you already know what you need to do. I signed you up for culinary school. I said, what do you mean you signed me up for culinary school? He's like, I signed you up for Schoolcraft. I said, how'd you sign me up for Schoolcraft? He's like, I got all your information. Like, you got a Pell Grant. You got $7,000 or $6,000 to figure it out.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. So then signed up for culinary school, and then that's like when I started to kind of like, well, fuck, I need to like stop getting all drunk all the time.
Yeah.
I gotta stop. As far as like the smoking the weed and like doing like the other drugs and stuff like that, that was already long gone. Because like being put on probation, and then like I don't know if you ever smoked like mass quantities and then like not smoked, and then when you smoke again, like you just get paranoid, and it's yeah.
You're looking at my
yeah. It's just like you get just paranoid, and it's just like, dude, I just couldn't handle it. And it was just something like I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna stop.
Sure.
So I started culinary school, and like that's like when you have like these 5-week courses, 4-hour classes. You have to have all your stuff ready to go, and you have to take these classes.
Yep.
You have to take them. You can't have to take them in this order, and you can't take them in another order. And if you miss 2 days, then you got to retake them again.
That's right.
And you have to wait another semester to get into that rotation to get in there. If
That's
they
how
offer
it was
it.
at audio school.
Yeah.
What I went to, it was a 30-week course.
Yeah.
With 10 cycles, 3
Yep.
weeks per cycle. And
Yep.
if you botch your attendance to a certain extent,
Yep.
they just kick you out of the
Yep.
program. Like
Yep.
they don't mess around. So.
Yeah.
No, right on.
And so Albert's and like Darren they were really good working with me. They were really good working with me and my schedule, and it was really good. It was really good. And then
I remember when you first started school.
Yeah.
I was up there. I remember being up there one day, and you were telling me about how you started going to Schoolcraft and everything.
Yeah.
And I still remember how proud I felt of you doing that because
Yeah.
you were getting after it. I was really stoked for you.
I mean, I needed it. Like I honestly, like I need it in my life. If my brother wouldn't have, if I wouldn't have got drunk, passed out on the porch, and my brother kicked me in the morning and do all that shit, like I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
Okay, so to that point,
Yeah.
you've learned from mentors and you've learned from mistakes. Those are the only two ways we learn. We learn from mentors and mistakes. And if you don't have a mentor in your life, maybe the author of a book that you read is your mentor because you learned from that book or whatever. But mentors are only there, and I probably said this on the podcast before, and I may say it a number of times throughout the entirety of doing this podcast, but mentors only point out mistakes that they've made so that you don't make them.
Yeah.
You know, and because they've also learned from their mistakes and their mentors, so they're distilling all of that wisdom that's worked for them, transferring it over to you and helping you get out of your own way. So if you didn't, like you said, if you didn't make that mistake and get wasted and pass out on your own porch, you know. But to that point, though, if your family wasn't so bonded and so tight knit that calling the younger brother up and saying your family needs your help, your brother and sister-in-law are out of work and they got a kid and a bun in the oven. Yeah. You know, if you guys weren't so tight, maybe he isn't a brother that steps up and says, "What are you doing with your life?" You know, anyone else might go, "Tony got so wasted last night, man." Yeah. You know, it's a different dynamic. So I feel like, you know, maybe your dad set the tone, or maybe even grandpa set the tone, being a business owner of the general store, of, you know, discipline and work ethic and whatnot. And when your brother sees you, you know, falling off that work ethic horse or whatever, wants to get you back on it. I like that, man. Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah, it was good. And then you know, obviously working at Albert's, you know, Chef Darren decided to leave the company. You know, I don't really want to badmouth the owner, but everything not to do at a restaurant, your own restaurant, like I learned from him. Right. Everything not to do, because that guy just whatever.
He made it okay, you don't want to say it, I'll say it. I don't care. He made it his own personal playground. Yeah. Okay, he made his own personal playground. He bit off way more than he can chew with the expansion of the joint. Yeah. And you know, having these private VIP areas where you're taking the cognoscenti of the Garden City area and taking them into a back room to treat them to drugs and hugs or whatever, you know. It's like that's not the way you do it. That's why I said, like, ever since when his father died, everything went shithouse because his dad was the one keeping the lid on things. Oh yeah. So, but no, you're right though. Okay, so in an indirect way, he's a mentor to you because he made mistakes that you got to watch and learn from on the spot. Oh yeah. So no, that's great. That's cool.
Yeah, and Darren quit, and you know, then I stepped up to be the chef. And Steve, you know, he's like, "Well, I'll pay you this." I said, "I guess that's okay." And meanwhile, knowing that I had an interview with MGM, right? You know, and like, but I know that the interview process, background check, drug test, which I knew I was going to pass, you know, that like it would take a couple months. Sure. And as soon as that guy, Chef Alex, you know, told
Garza?
me that, Chef Alex Garza, he said, you know, I'll never hire you unless you get your shit together. Well, as soon as I started school, you know, emailed him, and I seen him around at like a chili cook-off, and he said, "Hey chef, just to let you know, I seen him at the culinary extravaganza. My first year, it was like the first, like, it was September, and it was like the first weekend we had to work it. And he seen me, he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, chef, just to let you know, I just started culinary school. You know, just to let you know, starting culinary school." And then a year went by. We were at the Plymouth Chili Cook-Off. I seen him there. I said, "Hey chef, just to let you know, I'm halfway through culinary school." You know, and then he was like, "All right, well, when you graduate, I might have a spot for you." So then when I graduate, I get his email, and then I see him again. I send him an email, hey chef, I graduated. And then I seen him, and I said, "Hey chef, you got a spot for me?" And he said, "I might have something for you. Just hold on, give it a couple months." And then that was that. He called me up. He said, "You know, I got the spot. You know, background check. Just hold on. You know, don't quit your job yet. Hold on to this, and then you know, and then you'll have to quit accordingly. You never want to burn your bridges." And that's that. And then when he called me up, I was like, "All right."
So he was running MGM.
He was the executive sous chef.
Okay,
but like he knew me, and I kind of had like an in.
Right. No, but that's what I'm saying. He was working at MGM. Yeah. And so he's the one who pulled you out of Albert's to work for MGM. Yeah. Relationships, people. Yeah. Relationships. Yes. Relationships are everything. And just like he said, you don't want to burn your bridges with people at Albert's. You didn't burn a bridge with him. Yeah. Even though And quite frankly, that's a testament to him as a leader.
Yeah.
Because he could have said, called no showed, you did your points,
Yeah.
fuck off.
Yeah.
You're just like the rest of them.
Yeah.
And didn't give you a second chance
Yeah.
or even the opportunity to have a second chance. So good on you, Chef Alex Garza.
Yeah, and that's another mentor. And I said, and when I was leaving MGM, he stopped me in the hall and he said that, he said, you were just a little punk, and he said that. He's like, you're a punk, or you were a punk, but I seen something in you.
Right.
I seen that you had potential, and I seen that you were good. And he's like, that's why, like, I wanted you to, that's why I wanted you to work in Wolfgang Puck. And he's like, that's why I wanted you to work there. And then he's like, that's why, like, when it was like, who's going to run the Pizzeria Cucina? Like, that's why I wanted you to go there. That was like your next step, because you were actually running, like, even though we weren't doing that many numbers, but like you were actually running your own restaurant inside of a casino and a corporation at a corporate level with Wolfgang Puck. Like, this is where I wanted you to be, and you did it, and you did it successfully. And even Chef Joel, he said the same thing to me. He was like, well, I had a couple of different chefs to pick from, but like I figured that you would have been the best choice. And he was like, you exceeded everything that I wanted you to do, plus more, which I think that I could have done more. But that was really good coming from both those guys. That was really good.
Awesome. So you mentioned, when Chef Darren came in, you're being cocky, like, yeah, this guy didn't go to school or whatever. But let me ask you this: before, during, and after attending school, did you ever have doubts about your cooking abilities? You've always seemed quite confident to me.
Well, I mean, it's like, it's all about presentation, and like I had doubts. Like, oh, is this soup gonna taste good? Is this gonna taste good, or is this going to look good, and things like that. And as far as like being cocky, kind of just fake it till you make it type of thing.
Sure.
But that's like the beautiful thing about cooking and cookery, and you kind of like, okay, so let's say I make something and I add too much salt, or the pan was too hot, or like the one time that I made Guinness stew at Albert's for one of the St. Patty's Day thing. I added too much Guinness and I added way too much thyme, and it just came out and it tasted like thyme and Guinness. And like the lamb, you didn't get any of that flavor, and I had to throw out about 15 pounds of that, and it sucked. Yeah. But I learned, and I was like, all right, well, next time when I make it, like, I'm not gonna do that. And the beautiful thing about cooking is, like, whatever I do, like if I do something, if I mess it up, then I know what not to do next time. Then if I do something else, then I know what not to do the next time after that. And it's kind of like just like a building process.
So what then to you is the most difficult part of being a chef?
Just like trying to get your team on board is really hard, especially if you have somebody who's like a little bit older than you, who says they have experience, or they're kind of just stuck in their ways. That's really hard to get them on your team. Just trying to manage like the social life, kind of, that's kind of hard. And like sometimes if you do work late hours, like the only thing to do to socialize is when you get off at like midnight and go to the bar. Like, you know what I'm saying? So there's like, that's kind of hard. But as far as everything else, being creative is kind of hard for me. I don't want to say that I'm like the best chef and I'm the most creative chef ever. But like, I still have room for improvement. I'm a very good kitchen manager. Like, I'm very good at being organized and things like that. And being a chef isn't really only like being like the most creative and like coming up with all this crazy sous vide stuff and whatever. Like, being a chef is like, you got to talk to your employees. Like, you have to treat them as your family. Like, you have to know what to do when the servers come to you and ask you these questions. You have to know what is gluten free. Like, like you have to like know all. It have to be this like vast knowledge, or a vast ball of information, and just be able to like spit it off. And that's kind of hard. But like, at the end of the day, you kind of just get through it. And you kind of just, and if you don't know, you say, well, I don't know. Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out together.
And are you stoked on your 9 to 5 chefing gig?
Right now, yeah. Right now we're just on the menu phase, and and Chef Drew is doing a really good job doing all that. And
So is that is your schedule gonna change once the place?
yeah.
Oh, okay, I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say I didn't know if you're permanent
No,
9 to 5. I was
no.
gonna
This
say-
is just for the summer. Kind of works out.
Sure, right on.
You know.
That's cool though. So
Yeah.
well, at least you get summer evenings
I
and weekends.
guess. And I've never had that before.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
really enjoy it. Plan
Yeah.
some stuff for yourself. I don't know if you've had this moment yet. If so, when do you believe was the moment when you felt you had truly arrived as a chef?
I mean, I don't really want to say like arrived, but like when I started doing like my YouTube stuff, like that was kind of cool. And I was kind of, I don't want to say like arrived, but like when I started to get like my team members actually starting to like do actually everything that I want them to do instead of like telling them like you have to do this, like they would actually start doing it without me asking them to, which was good. But as far as like arriving, I guess it was like in the actual like confidence
Yeah.
that I have now is like just kind of like when I was like, all right, well, you know what, I'm gonna do this YouTube thing. And I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna do Facebook Live, and that was the first thing. Was I see my buddy getting all crunk or all crunked? He was, I'm crunked on Facebook Live, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something, but I'm gonna do it better, and I'm gonna do a cooking show on Facebook Live.
Sure.
Screw it. And a lot of my first ones were long. They were like 40 minutes long, and I'd break down everything, and I'd do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, you know what? Well, I got that new house. I got the Airbnb house. It's an immaculate kitchen. I'm gonna start doing it there. And then I took some of the comments, the constructive criticism, like, well, hey, why don't you make shorter ones? So then I was like, all right, well, I had this YouTube channel from like years ago that it's free to make one, but I had one with it had a couple of golden tea videos on it. And I was like, yeah. So that got like linked up.
Awesome.
So like I raced those, and then I was like, all right, well,
Golden.
I'm just gonna make this one, and I'm gonna be like, all right, well, I'm gonna do this. So then I started doing smaller ones, smaller
You're
5-minute videos,
Yeah.
like 5 to 6 minutes, and I was like, okay, well, this is what I'm gonna do. And that really started boosting my confidence.
Awesome. Yeah. I was actually going to say, beyond cooking at your places of employment, you started your own YouTube channel, Modified Cooking.
Yeah, Modified Cooking.
And I could be wrong. Are you at the point yet where you got your custom URL for Modified?
I do.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Righteous.
Yep,
So it's
got it.
youtube.com/modified cooking.
It's youtube.com/C/modified cooking.
Gotcha. Okay.
MATTAFIED cooking.
Right on. I actually watched a couple of your
Yeah,
videos to assist me.
Yeah,
dicing an onion. That really
I
helps.
I gotta do more. But I've been so busy, and speaking about like teaching stuff, like I'm also doing stuff with Starfish Family Services.
Starfish Family Services.
Yeah, Starfish Family Services is like the best way that they're like a social worker services. They deal with like homes, like people who might be on like food stamps or
Disadvantaged.
disadvantaged homes and families.
Sure.
Now I did something. Remember Shelly? Yeah. Shelly. She actually got her bachelor's in social work or whatever she did, and she actually hooked me up with a class like 3 years ago, teaching a class of underprivileged teens who had kids, like
Right.
how to cook. And like I just did a simple pan-seared chicken or whatever, and it was really cool. And I got to interact with like 10 students, showed them how to pan-sear their stuff, and like I always had that one guy in the back. Oh, well, I seen it on TV. If he did it, I was like, all right, whatever. Took it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But like now, my other friend Stacy, she works for Starfish Family Services too, and she was like, well, I have to do this module. Can you help me out? And I said, well, what do you want me to do? She was like, you want me to teach a cooking class? She's like, yeah, let's teach a cooking class. And I was like, all right. So I've been in works with her over the last couple of months and trying to figure out a day. And this month, the last 3 Tuesdays of July and the first Tuesday of August, I'll be teaching a class. And it's like 10 people. That's what the max that I want.
Sure.
And I'm just going to like, this week I'm just doing breakfast, but I'm just going to show them how to like actually make an egg, a rolled omelet. I might throw some hash browns in there now that I'm thinking about it, and biscuits and gravy. And then actually, like a lot of people make the mistake of like, well, they always want to take bacon and put it like in a pan or saute it in a pan, but it just gets all over the place. Like you just take a bacon sheet, you put it in the oven, and it comes out way better. 15 minutes.
Just a baking sheet.
Yeah.
No aluminum foil. Just put it on.
Nope.
Put it on a flat baking sheet.
Yep.
For 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes, 350.
So I don't like my bacon too crispy.
Yeah.
So still 15 minutes.
Yep.
Is that good?
Yeah,
I like.
If you want, like,
I like the soft, chewy fat.
Well, then you might want to go like maybe 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
17 would be crispy.
So
And then it depends on your oven.
Okay, so all right, so try it at 13 minutes on
Yeah.
350.
Yeah.
I'll do that next time I make breakfast then.
Yeah, and it's and then if you want, you could take the fat, the bacon fat, and you can use it for a roux or something like that.
Okay.
So that's that. And I'm doing classes, and then like next week is just like pan searing some chicken. We're gonna do, as stupid as it sounds, like we're gonna do box mashed potatoes, but I'm gonna show them how to like spice it up a little bit, make it a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean you're working with disadvantaged
Yeah.
families.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have box potatoes.
Yeah,
and-
you can have some corn. You can have some corn. You can saute out some onions, put a little bit of onions in there, make it a little bit sweet. Maybe put some cream in there, or whatever you have, like things like that. So any way that I give back to the community is kind of good, and it's very good that I can do that because coming from lower middle class, being on food stamps and things like
Yeah.
that, like if I could just reach one person, like that's tight. Like that's so tight.
Yeah, because God forbid that one person, is someone like yourself who
Mm-hmm.
might be, getting in scraps and getting in trouble, in their youth, but then they come in contact with you, and all of a sudden they get this spark
Yeah.
for a love for cooking, and it sends them on a journey of their own to where they can become successful doing it. That's fantastic.
So yeah, if I can give back, why not?
So how often are you uploading these videos to your channel?
I was trying to do it every Monday for like Modified Monday.
Right, yeah, I like
and-
it.
Yeah, but like it's kind of like how as a producer and you write your song tracks and you make an album and then like you might release a single like every other month. Like
Sure.
I kind of have that, but like the phone that I shot all some of my videos on kind of took a crap on me, so I'm kind of like, oh man, and then like I'm getting like a lot of business at my Airbnb, and that's where I'm shooting it at.
Okay.
So like it's kind of like trying to figure out a time when I can do it at my Airbnb, and even if I want to do it, I wouldn't really have to be like on a Monday or whatever. But I was just trying to find the time to do that and how I want to do it.
What about? I'm spitballing here. What about writing down like 10 ideas for videos, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to do them weekly,
Yeah.
and what are they? 5 minutes pop, 10 minutes
well-
pop tops, or
Well, it's like kind of like a
I just subscribed.
yeah.
so-
Well, it's kind of like a production, and I'm still trying to figure out the ins and outs of the YouTube.
baby steps.
But it's kind of like, okay, well, I have 5-minute clips.
Okay.
But those 5-minute clips might lead up to like a 20-minute production where I'm actually making what I'm doing.
Okay, so the clips are just the stages. Here's what I'm
Yep.
doing here, and then here's the process from beginning to end.
And that's kind of what I was trying to do, like with the Facebook Live, is that like I would do these small little things,
Mhm.
and then those would be on my YouTube, and then I would go and do the Facebook Live, which would be the 20-minute production.
Sure.
Okay, so then I'm using free media, like whatever,
Yeah.
and I'm linking it to my Twitter and my Instagram and
Mhm.
all that stuff.
The overhead's low.
Yeah, and so then that's that, and then I found an app that I can record the Facebook Live video, and then I can upload that to YouTube.
Oh, okay,
So-
sweet.
and
What's
I'm
that
s-
app anyway?
I can't remember what the
Okay,
name of it
all right,
is.
maybe. Let me know when you get your thing working again
Yeah.
or whatever. But what I was going to say is if you know that, okay, so to take your example, then you're going to make 4 or 5 minute videos
Yep.
and then do a full 20.
Yep.
So you basically call it an hour's worth of
Yeah.
production time
Yeah, yeah.
to do all that.
Yeah.
If you could carve out, okay, and let me back up. So each of those 4 videos you're going to release weekly, and
Yeah.
then on that last week or the week right after that, you'll do the full 20?
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially, to produce all 4 of those videos and the 20-minute video, call it an hour's worth of production
Yeah.
time, right? Just on the recording
Yeah,
of it,
yeah.
not to wrap around the production stuff. So if you carved out 3 hours worth,
Yeah.
you could essentially set up 3 months worth
Of stuff.
of stuff in
Yeah.
3 hours,
Yeah.
shoot it all,
Yeah.
and then produce it later on your
Yeah.
phone or computer or whatever. And you could even, I don't know, maybe you could use the restaurant at Made in Detroit after hours. I know you don't want to step on toes.
Well,
and
here's
things like-
the deal, and so I'm always thinking about stuff like that, and I did a couple of videos at the casino, and it was like, okay, so I did how to fillet a salmon. And I had that up for like 3 days, and I got like 70 hits, and it was great. It was a great video, 5 minutes, and then as soon as like I had that up, like they they started saying that I was posting on their time, and I had to take it down. I did like this. I did 6 videos of how to make lasagna, an epic lasagna making series, and like I'm very upset about this. And epic lasagna making series, how to make my lasagna. I make really good lasagna, and I made it with the hand. How to make the dough, how to make this, and this, layer it, bake it, all this stuff, and I did it. And I had that posted up, and that's what I was doing like every Monday. And I had like a month and a half like ready to go, and I go, all right, well, this is what it is. And it was like me, my chef jacket, and like in the professional kitchen.
Yeah.
I do it in a chef jacket at my house, but it is actually a professional kitchen.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, this is sweet. Well, then it came against like, well, I was shooting on their time. It's their property, and it kind of left a little sour taste in my mouth because I was trying to get the marketing team behind me. They came down and they shot like one video of me making pasta, and they put it like on a boomerang clip on their Instagram one time like 3 months ago, and I was trying to get them to do that for
They were
me.
just throwing you a bone at that point.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
you were trying to make them a partner. Like,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm trying to do this not just for me, but this will enhance the marketing and the branding of where we're at.
Yeah,
So,
and then they kind of like put me on Fox 2 News, which was kind of cool.
I saw that today,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, and they put me on Fox 2 News, which is pretty cool. And I think that was they were like, well, we're gonna do this, and kind of shut him up. Like he wants to be like in the public eye, but like no, like
Pacify you.
like my restaurant was like it's like. It was not getting the amount of covers that I want. A cover is like
tables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't getting the amount of covers. And like I'm like grassroots. People look at Instagram. People look on Facebook. Like this is what it is. YouTube. It's social media. This is what I want. Let's do this. And then trying to get my social media people. And then like it took me like a couple weeks just to get a meeting. And then when I had the meeting, she was like, didn't even know what I was talking about. And then I'm like, all right, well, they were like, well, you have to take a class. And I was like, well, what class do you have to take? And then I talked to one of the other higher ups. So there ain't no class. They don't offer a class. And then it was like, only the people who were supposed to take care of that. And then it was like, well, this and that. And they were always passing the buck. And I'm just like, dude, like, are you serious? Like, this is nonsense. Like, I am trying to promote the restaurant that is dying.
Right.
And you are preventing this. Like, why are you preventing this? Is there some sort of grand scheme? Are you up to something? Is there something going on?
You know, a lot of times when you get into corporations, corporations come with every corporation comes with a certain amount of bureaucracy attached to it, right? And the more bureaucracy that abounds, whether it's a corporation, whether it's America, no one really has the authority to make a decision on anything.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, well, hey, what's the right thing to do? They say, well, what does the rule book say?
Yeah.
And so, and it's not even a passing the buck thing. It's that no one wants to put the green light on it and give you the go ahead and then them not be above reproach and have somebody come to them and say, why are you doing this? And so I completely understand it. Is it right? No, it's not right.
No.
And you have every right to be pissed about it because you're good at what you do and you're investing your time trying to help the company.
Yeah, and so now I'm kind of like in a catch-22. Like, do I release those videos? Because I still have them on my YouTube. They're just locked.
What are they going to do?
See, that's what I don't know.
What are they going to do?
I don't know. You know, like I posted one the other day. So now I'm like, well, will I get in trouble with Little Caesars? See what I'm saying?
If you did that at Little Caesars,
No,
or
no,
if you posted from another restaurant at Little Caesars,
Yeah, no, I'm kind of like, what do I got to do? My
it's very
chef,
politicking.
Chef Duncan Spangler, I posted it, and he was like, he texted me, he's like, do you want to get sued? Do you want to get sued by the casino? Because I think you might get sued if you keep on posting those. And I'm like, well, why? You know, but he was like looking out for me, and like Chef Duncan. He's a really good pastry chef, and he's working at the Foundation Hotel, the apparatus room.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I mean, just make some more lasagna videos.
Yeah.
Then just do it again. It's
Yeah.
not lost. What's lost was the time.
Yeah.
But if you had to go through all that to learn that the bureaucracy is going to fuck you over, well, then I guess you learned, right?
Yeah.
So what tangible benefits have you experienced from doing the Modified Cooking YouTube channel and from doing your Facebook live videos? Have you seen any traction? Has anybody come into the restaurant? Hey, I saw your cooking show or anything like that?
Yeah. You know, I've like some people have commented, on it, like, oh, like, you actually like helped me out, and then like some people, like I see them, friends of mine that I if I like. if I go out to the bar like on a Friday night and I don't have to work the next morning, like, oh, I seen your YouTube video, like that was really tight. Like things like that. It's kind of cool.
Mhm.
It's kind of cool for like a little bit of recognition like that. And it's kind of like, oh well, yeah, I did do that.
Do you have an email list?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
So I ask about the tangible benefits because what I feel like every kid these days, as soon as they get their first smartphone, they already
Yeah.
start figuring out how to develop their own personal brand.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
everyone's personal
Yeah,
brand.
yeah.
However, you have a skill set and you're trying to educate people and
Yeah.
whatnot. So your brand is, hey, I'm educating people about cooking, right?
Yeah.
The reason I ask about an email list is because there's a lot of noise on social media.
Yeah.
And, all the algorithms that exist, specifically in Facebook. Twitter's very chronological. Instagram is they also have the suppressive algorithms here and there, but nothing like Facebook. And then you got to deal with Google search engine optimization, all this different stuff, all these hurdles. But the email address is the key to that person's front door.
Yeah.
That is like mailing a letter to their house that
Yeah.
you know they're going to get, and you get a receipt from when they opened it and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So I would highly recommend starting an email list.
Okay.
And to the point where take your top 3 videos on YouTube or whatever, and when somebody signs up for your email list, just shoot those links to them. And beyond doing a weekly modified cooking video, do like a weekly blog recipe or something, like do a weekly email blast of, hey, here's a new recipe or this and that, da 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 da. And dude, you're a personal cat. Make it personal and just come from, hey, here's why I started. I'm just spitballing here, but I've found that when I put it out there to strangers of, hey, if you give me your email address, I'll send you my full-length album in the unmastered version at the time for free.
Yeah.
And the only thing is I'd rather hear I hate it than nothing at all. And I followed up with them. And some people, they didn't respond. But the majority of people that I connected with, not only did they give me feedback on like what were their favorite tunes and what they liked about them, I told them, hey, thanks for the feedback. Those 3 songs you liked, this song's about this song's about this song means this to me, and I'm so glad you love it, stuff like that. And hey, I'll keep you updated on my happenings, from time to time. And they expect my stuff. And I now have been developing relationships with hundreds of people over the last couple of years that have become the foundation for a fan base, basically. And they are my fans, but some of them I consider my friends. And we didn't even, it's not like I've known them. I met them through doing music, but now again, relationships.
Yep.
And so can you develop relationships via social media? Absolutely. I've done it. You've done it. We've all done it. However, the email is the concrete feedback. And the other thing too is you can put something out there on social media and everyone's going to see it. But the people liking your stuff on social media and commenting on your stuff, all their people are going to see that they liked and commented on your stuff.
Yeah.
So now, because everyone's so wrapped up in their head with their personal brand, there are people out there who take social media so seriously. Because maybe they don't have something serious in their life that they're really taking seriously.
Yeah.
They don't have these goals. So social media and their image online is so important to them that they won't engage or interact with your posts online. Whereas an email is private.
Yep.
You're the only one that sees theirs. They're the only one that sees yours. And you can have that vulnerability and that authentic engagement via email. So I highly, highly recommend doing that. And not only that, but the email and developing those relationships, those people then will begin spreading the gospel about your stuff and directing people. You won't have to go get them. They'll begin coming to you.
Like kind of just grassroots, man.
It 100%.
Yep.
100%. That's how I'm growing my music business now. I'm starting out with house shows.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into people's houses and perform for 25 to 40 adults who are either members of my fan club or who are willing to make a modest donation. To that point, any fan club members out there or anybody interested in being a fan club member or booking a house show, send an email to getafterit@therealjohnk.com. Getafterit@therealjohnk.com. We can sign you up to the email list. We can get you on the fan club, and we can talk about booking a house show in your area. Anywho, but by going and doing house shows, I'm able to avoid having to be on a bill with other bands competing for people's attention.
Oh, yeah.
I can go in and mingle with people and hang out, and we can just just hang out and party, and then hey, from 9 to 10 or 9 to 10:30, whatever, John from Detroit's gonna do a set of music, and then I have everybody's undivided attention, and afterward I can shake babies and kiss hands. Strike that, reverse it.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So the grassroots approach it's not only more authentic, but it truly is the best way to get after it in the culture in which we're living in now, when everything is so superficial and so hype. People want the real, and when they find the real and they recognize the real, it resonates with them. So, and you're a righteous real dude, so I don't think
I try to keep it real.
No, always. You've always kept it real, dude. So as long as I've known you. So yeah, email list for sure. And that's not just for Tony. Anyone listening, if you have a business, if you have a band, if you have any type of venture in which you are trying to recruit troops to the cause, okay, develop an email list, because again, it is the key to the person's front door, and you'll build a much stronger connection with them. I want to ask you this. What would you say is the one quality that you believe is shared among the great chefs that you've had the fortune to learn from and or work with?
Actually, like the ones that are actually good.
Yes.
And they care.
Yes. Those are the ones we care
about. Just passion.
Okay.
Just passion. There's nothing.
Have you ever tasted a great chef, or have you ever tasted a chef's food, or who thought they were great or good, and they didn't have passion, but the food was phenomenal?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No. I've tasted a lot of food that the cook thought was the best ever, and it was just crap.
Right on.
Yeah, and it's very passionate. It's a passionate. One of the most passionate things that you can do is make a meal for somebody. Make it with love. You can just bang out some slop if you want, but if you actually do the proper steps and make an actual like good dish for somebody, then it's good. Being passionate is very good, and like you're. Like being in the kitchen, especially dealing with a dinner rush, like I can go into the kitchen. It doesn't matter what's going on over here, I could be breaking up with so-and-so, or like have a bad day, or my bank's overdrawn, or like whatever. I walk into that kitchen and I know that for like 10 hours, it's going to kind of just melt away. And I know that like maybe the first couple hours I might be kind of thinking about this stuff, but I know that for like that dinner rush, that dinner rush, that 2, 3, 4 hour dinner rush, it's just going to be just pure, it's just like rush and adrenaline. And this is what we're doing. And we're banging this out and we're doing this. How long on pasta for table 52? What's going on with this? How long on that steak? Let's go up on this. Let's fire that pizza. That pizza's messed up. Let's fire another one. Like, let's go. Come on, guys. I need hands over here. Like, this is what we're doing. And being like that, being in that rush and like getting that high and like that's like kind of like, all right, and then afterwards you're just like, man, I just kicked ass. The team kicked ass. We all did good. You know what? Hey, buddy, you ran out of Redskins. Why did we run out of Redskins? Let's not run out of Redskins again on Saturday. Come on, guy. Let's not run out of pizza cheese on Saturday. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Oh, well, chef, no, let's not make this happen again. Like, right. And my job as chef is to, like I said, we've talked about Gordon Ramsay and these asshole chefs and like, oh, you got to do this and you got to be that. And you could be that. If you want to be that chef, that's fine. But for me, it's more of a teach, train, develop. Teach, train, develop. I interviewed a lot of people today, and and they're not going to be on my team. And the thing is, like they're like, well, I don't know what this is. I'm asking them, what Mirepoix is? You know what this is? You know what this is? They know some of the questions, but they're like, well, I don't know. It's like, all right, well, look, you have a great attitude. You got some basic knife skills. I'm gonna hire you. If you have a great attitude, I can teach you anything. If you had a crappy attitude, walk in with your chip on your shoulder, then I'm not going to be able to teach you anything.
First who, then what?
Yeah.
First who, then we talked about this right before we started the podcast about shared values.
Yeah.
And, work ethic, passion, drive, all that stuff. If you can, just like Alex Garza saw in you, but you were getting in your own way. He's like, all right, stop getting your own way and then come back and see me and everything will be cool.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for, is you're looking for people who have the right attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I tell people all the time, even when it comes to picking people to play music with me, it's like I would rather have an a guy with an A in attitude and a C in talent over a guy with an A in talent and a C in attitude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is way harder to get somebody to improve their attitude than it is to improve their skill set.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they have a great attitude and you're invested in helping develop their skill set, they're going to want to listen to you.
Yeah.
So awesome. I completely agree with where you're going there. I have a set of questions that I end all the shows with, or the episodes with, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, but before I ask you all those questions, I want to ask you this. What is the most important thing that being a chef has taught you?
Be a leader. Like, be a leader, and then lead by example. Do that. Lead by example. That's, if you're a hypocrite and if you can't walk the walk and if you can't work that saute station, and you say you can work that saute station, you can't do it. Like, well, and who are you? Lead by example. There's a time when I first started the cucina, like I didn't know their dishes. Like, I kind of knew them. I looked at the recipes, I know them, but I never really I made them before, but I haven't like banged them out. And like that's like one of the most humbling moments. Like being on that, but had a call off, got to work the saute station. That saute station, it was a rough 3 hours, but we got through it. Then I started working more on that. And just leading by example and being a leader instead of a boss is a lot. It's a lot better. Get you a lot further. A lot more respect. And I'm still learning. Sometimes I can be a dick, but it's just lead by example.
Right.
And then do unto others as you want to be done unto you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. How often do you talk to yourself?
Sometimes. What are you doing, Tone? Come on, Tone. Like, let's get this together. Usually on the drive home.
On the drive home from work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
you ever do it out loud?
No.
Or in the mirror? Okay.
No.
What do you tell yourself when you screw up? And do you punish yourself?
I don't necessarily punish myself. I more or less say, well, let's not do this again. Okay, what did I do? How did I make that dish? How did I make that dish wrong? What did I do? What did I do during service that was wrong? What did I do? How did I make that team member upset? What could I have done to make that better? How could I have like orchestrated my service a little bit better? Like, that's what I try to think about, like things like that.
Right on. So you look inward instead of outward first.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What can I do to change myself? Because nobody is, and I tell everybody, like, nobody is going to do anything for you except for you yourself. Besides my brother giving me that kick in the ass. But, like, nobody is going to do anything for you except for you yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my brother kicked me in my ass, but then I didn't do anything.
Right.
Nobody's going to do anything for you except for you yourself. It's not going to happen.
What do you tell yourself when you do well, and do you reward yourself?
I kind of might just be like, yeah, I did all right. I might go buy a beer. I might do an extra shot. I just don't. I really don't. I mean, if I did good, I did good. I did good, and then that means that the service was good. It means if I did good, then the service was good, and that I was successful for the day. And I mean, at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter. Like for me, like the guests, like those guests are happy. One of my guests, my last day that I was working at the Cucina, like she wanted to get a picture with me, and she was like so happy for me and like all this stuff, and like she was happy. If I can make the guests happy, then that's fine. I mean, if I do good, then I do good. But at the end of the day, like it's about the guests. Yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
How do you relax?
Well, I try to like just lay there and try to just think. And then sometimes, honestly, like, me and my buddy Tom, we used to just play GTA a lot. So play some Grand Theft Auto. Going on my bike rides, is really good, to clear your mind. When I used to run and jog, like that would be good too, which reminds me I need to get back in the gym.
Okay.
By the way, you're looking really good.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's to your point. I work out in my living room.
Yeah.
I bought a 30-pound kettlebell, and
Yeah.
I have just a yoga mat that I
Yep.
think got at Target years ago, and that's all I do. Dude, you don't have to pay for a gym membership. You can do it whenever you want. And I'm actually about to get a 40-pound kettlebell too, because I need to up my
Yeah.
game. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
living, finally having my own house again
Yeah.
is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
I have not had my own place. We closed on this New Year's Eve 2015.
Yeah.
So I had been living with my parents from March of 2009 to basically January 2016. And the things that I've learned about diet and health and exercising in that time have completely altered the way that I approach my body, what I put in it, how I use it, and so I'm not even where I want to be. Thank you, though. I
Yeah.
appreciate, and I'm not trying to hey, hijack. Let's
Yeah.
talk about how great John looks. But anyway, no. Again, you have to do it. No one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
No
So
one
for
is going.
yourself.
No one's going to
Yeah.
lift the kettlebell
Yeah, yeah,
for me.
exactly.
I gotta
Yeah.
do it, right?
Yeah.
I've also been taking martial arts.
Okay.
I started taking Wing Chun Do.
Okay.
The Grandmaster. I had the Grandmaster on my podcast a couple episodes ago, and I didn't realize this, dude. He's right down Plymouth Road between Inkster and Middlebelt.
Oh yeah.
It
It is right down the road.
It goes Bruce Lee, James DeMille, my instructor.
Yeah.
Yes, it's dude. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And not only doing that makes me want to be in better shape for it. It
Yeah.
makes me
Oh, yeah.
not want to be hungover
Yeah.
for it. So it's helping me with discipline. It's helping me with accountability.
Yeah.
It's helping me with physical health, spiritual health. As a matter of fact, my instructor is into transcendental meditation, and he teaches us that stuff too. We have growth pyramid that we work on, where you define like, okay, here's what. If at the bottom of the pyramid it says martial artist, okay, well then what are all the blocks that go on top of that pyramid that make up a martial artist for you?
Yeah.
You know, it's your growth. And okay, now here are the things we're going to work on individually. We're going to put a program together to help. Okay, I want to be more flexible. Okay, so I'm going to probably start taking yoga soon. I want to have more balance in my life. Okay, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so thank you. Who is the most influential person in your life?
On my life, 100% my dad.
100% your dad.
100% my dad. I mean, I've had mentors, as I mentioned. Chef Joel, Chef Darren Kuhn, Chef Alex Garza. Those guys, Chef Darren Thompson. Those guys were really huge. Priscilla Shea. She wasn't really a chef, but she was a good kitchen manager. She was like that mom.
Yeah, I remember
you know,
Priscilla.
Yeah, and those people indirectly. Not knowing or not doing what you should do, Steve, but not really. But my dad,
Right.
my dad, 100% my dad. Work ethic, being there for my mom, just being there for us kids and just doing anything for us. That's 100% dad.
If of all the lessons that he ever taught you or passed down to you, if they were all in one big bucket, on each of those lessons are on a different sheet of paper, and you had to reach into that bucket and pull out one sheet of paper with one lesson on it and burn the rest, what lesson would you hold on to?
Probably family. Can
you expound on that a little bit?
Well, I mean, just us and like my dad doing everything for his family and like just showing that that he can do things, and he was a support. He was a support, and he for when my parents decided to quit drinking together, that was really huge, and my dad's always been there, my mom's always been there, and just being together, and then love for the family, and then no matter what, there was a period where I didn't really talk to my parents for a couple of years when I first started working at Albert's, because I was so lost in my ways. But they always knew that I was there, and they understood that. And my dad understood that I had to go through what I had to go through to be where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So and that is kind of good, and just being together and understanding each other and just being a family for one another. He loves us, he loves my son or his son, me, and my brother, and my mom, really good. We're really it's good. It's good.
Awesome. What makes you laugh?
I don't know, some stupid cat videos.
That's right, you Buddy Cat.
Yeah, Buddy Cat.
Yeah.
He's an extremely fat cat.
It's your cat.
Yeah. He's 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. What makes you cry?
I mean, honestly, I haven't really cried in a very long time.
I know when
Uh,
you visited Jasmine, you said.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was hard. That was hard. I seen her. She got a. Just to let everybody know, she got in a very bad accident. She was hit by a drunk driver. Her sister was in the car. Her sister passed away.
Ugh,
Her two kids were injured, but not really that bad. But she was injured pretty bad.
right.
And it was like kind of like right before Christmas, or it was like September, October, and yeah, it sucked. When I seen her in that hospital and she was just all pinned up, I was like, "Fuck,"
Mm.
and that kind of like blew me back a little bit. And like that honestly, that was probably the last time I cried. But it's the crying, that's that. But then that's kind of like put it in perspective about like fear, with her family, and then like with me, like fear of not having a family. So then that kind of tied it together a little bit, where like as we mentioned before in the show, like I want kids.
Right.
Like I want kids. Like that's the bottom line. Like this is what I want,
Right.
and this is what I want. And there's kind of maybe like crying over not having kids, but seeing her, that was horrible. It was horrible. She's doing great, but she's doing good. She, like I said, she called me the other day.
Good.
She's almost recovered. She's good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And then the guy who, did that, he's in prison. So
Good.
yeah, fuck him.
As he should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so then tell me about a time when you truly suffered and what did you learn from it?
When I truly suffered, I mean, honestly, like, just like when I was like working at Albert's, it was just so hard, to like get like I don't know, like recognized or like to like get like to where I want it to be. Because oh well, Tony, he's good, like as like oh well, yeah, he's a good cook, but like actually like to get some recognition from my peers, that was kind of rough. Just being there and it's like oh well, he's just a fucking drunk and like whatever and fuck him, he smokes weed and this and that and or he takes pills or like like whatever, he don't know what he's talking about, he's just he's just some guy and like suffering as far as like that. I was kind of like suffering and like trying to get to where I'm at right now, I guess, if that was like suffering. As far as anything else, like financially, it was kind of hard, making it to where I'm at right now. And if it wasn't for my parents like helping me out, like I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And then like suffering as a kid, not really being the most popular kid, kind of just being a loner, still a loner, but like kind of just not being the popular guy, not getting picked for stuff like that's kind of suffering a little bit, but like everything that has happened has made me a little bit better of a person. And, now now I know what not to do, I guess, to not suffer.
Yeah, right. That's cool. What would you say until now, until today, would you call the defining moment in your career?
Like when I want to say like when like Chef Alex and like those guys like actually like had like the confidence in me like running the pizzeria and cucina. That was like kind of like, well fuck man, like I'm kind of there, like, and like even though we weren't doing like, we'd be doing like 300 on Saturdays, every other Saturday, which is pretty good. Three, sometimes 350 every other Saturday, but the steakhouse is banging out 450, Friday and Saturday, and then 200 on a Monday, Tuesday, covers, where we might be banging out like 70, maybe 100, like on a Wednesday, so I mean that was kind of like defining for me. And then and then like when I got the job at MGM, that was that. Chef Alex, being in contact with him, like saying, "Hey, chef, just so you know, like I'm graduating." And he's okay. That was kind of good, and him believing in me was really good.
Okay. So then what would you say is the defining moment so far in your personal life?
In my personal life, well, I mean, like kind of like not being all messed up all the time at night. I still drink beers and stuff. Just realizing that I want a family. Realizing that I'm an adult now. Realizing that I gotta get my shit together, and nobody's gonna do it except for me. That was kind of like a wake up call. Like I gotta get my shit together. Like I can't be a 40-year-old guy still smoking weed, drinking 40s, and living in my mom's basement. I can't do that. That's fine if you do that, but like you maybe had like a financial setback or something like that, But like if you have no aspiration in your life or anything like that, like you can't. Like I can't do that, and I'm not gonna like say anything, but like a group of friends that I grew up with, that I went to high school with, that I went to middle school with, and things like that. A couple of them passed away from overdoses and stuff like that.
From Garden City?
No, from the Livonia area.
Okay.
And then it's kind of as you mentioned, Garden City. The first love that I actually had, Lisa. She passed away from drugs. She passed away from ODing, and it sucked. And it was my first love, and that was kind of rough. That was kind of like, and I went to her funeral, and I thought her parents were gonna just tear me a new asshole because we left. I got into it with her parents, and they were like, you know what? They were like, you were probably one of the best boyfriends that she ever had. You were a big change in her life, and this and that, and that was kind of good, and that was a little defining for me with that. But just realizing that you have to be an adult,
Sure.
Yeah.
Right on. What is the biggest advice that you have received in your career, and how did you utilize it to go to the next level?
Stay humble. Just stay humble. Just stay humble, and people are gonna be better than you. People are gonna be better than you. I know people are gonna be better than you, and I accept that because I know that I'm not the most creative person. I work with this guy, Chef Nick, and he's a young guy. He's 26. He's got his bachelor's in hotel food, whatever. He's got his associates in culinary arts. I went to school with him. This guy's coming up with crazy shit. And he's younger than me. He's coming up with the stuff. And I'm like, damn, like I should be thinking about that. But like he doesn't have like that management level yet because he's so young. So like that's kind of like, oh man, but like just stay humble. Like he knows like more than me, but like I'm a little bit better of a manager, So just stay humble, and just like, just like don't be cocky, just stay humble and just treat others how you want to be treated,
All right. So before I ask the next question, then you said don't be cocky, but then when Darren came to Albert's, you admit to being cocky.
Yeah.
So Darren came in what, 07?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay. When did you realize then that you needed to remove some of the cockiness from your
We had a meeting in the
personality?
office.
Oh, so it wasn't. Oh, he told you. He told you straight up. Okay, put us in that room. What happened?
Yeah, he said, I said something to him, and he said, Mr. Matta, when we have a moment, we need to talk in the office. He said,
He called you Mr. Matta.
Yeah.
So you knew it was us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went to the office, and we were sitting there. I was sitting. He was sitting at his chef desk.
How long had you guys been working together before this meeting?
Probably about 6 months.
Okay.
And I used to like. I didn't know how he put up with me. Like I didn't know how he put up with me. But I think he might have seen something in me, and he kind of sat me down, and he said, basically, "What is your issue with me?" And I said, well, I don't think you know what you're doing, And he's like, well, if you don't think I know what I'm doing, then maybe you might want to search for another place of employment. And I was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I love this place. I've been here, and you're not gonna fire me. He's like, well, it's an at-will company, and if I feel that you are gonna leave or you have to leave, then you have to leave. And he was just basically just told me that he's not going anywhere, and that he's the chef, and that I better just deal with it. And like after that, like I felt like and I said to him, like, I said, you have to look at it from my perspective. Like, like I've been working at Albert's for so long. I got passed up, and Scott got the position, and I didn't get it, when Priscilla quit, and like, and then Scott got fired and then he failed and you got hired. So it's like 3 people or 2 people that like I got passed up for. I was like, it sucks. Like it sucks. Like fuck you.
Right.
And but he kind of understood that, and and then over the next course of the year, like we started becoming more mentor. And then like when he made me his sous chef, like that was like, well, you're my sous chef. You're not an assistant kitchen manager. You're the sous chef, and he kind of gave me like a little bit of power, I guess, if you say.
He empowered you.
Yeah, like he's like, when you're not here, you are the chef, because that was like kind of like a battle, like oh well, you're not the chef, like Chef Darren's the chef. Well, you're not. Well, when she's not there, I'm the chef.
Right.
Oh no, you're not. You're just Tony. That was kind of like hard. That was like kind of a transition at Albert's that I had to overcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, he sat me down in the office, Mr. Matta. Got to come to the office, and we talked and kind of just hashed it out and just talked about it, and after that, he is really good. He's a really good mentor.
Right on.
And he's good guy.
Right. So after that meeting, then did you leave? And is he the one who said you're too cocky, or did you put 2 and 2 together? Like
I just put that in my head.
Right on.
And then like Katie would always say that too, like you're just too cocky and like this and that. And it's like, well, all right. Katie, the ultimate friend zone.
Oh, you two. That's funny. Okay. Define success.
I mean, success is just kind of just being happy. Just being happy with what you do every day. Being happy with your lifestyle. Being happy with just you and everything. Like honestly, like I'm doing pretty good. Like with the Airbnb, I'm making money, but that money is going into the house to make more money.
Yeah.
So it's kind of stressful there. I guess I'm successful in that because it's kind of like, feeding itself. But it's generally like just going to work and just being happy and, doing what I do and do something that I love. Because they say like if you do something you love, then you never work a day in your life. And,
right.
Yeah, it sucks. Like sometimes when you have to work those 12-hour days and, when we open up, like I'm going to be working those 12, 14-hour days, which is going to be like rough. However, like that's what I signed up for. And, to be successful at something, like you just have to do it. And, success for me is just being happy and just being happy for myself and being happy with who I've become.
Awesome. What's next for the modified cooking brand?
Well, there's all sorts of stuff. I already bought the modified.com. I bought Modified Industries. Modified Industries. I bought that. .com. Just so I have those, just in case I'm working on this knife tray that I'm kind of like trying to figure out. My buddy made it with my blueprints, but now I'm trying to figure out a bag. So now I'm trying to figure out somebody who can sew me a bag, or I'm trying to buy a sewing machine for the bag. So just have the modified knife case. So I have that. Also, the other house across the street from me downtown, like I want to buy, but that's like another maybe year.
And
but
do a second Airbnb.
Yeah, do a second Airbnb. And then ultimately, like what I would like to do is just cook for these guests, give them a menu. Here you go. Here's this. There's pick from 4 of these items. What do you want? Dinner will be at 7:00. How many guests? This is what's going on. $400.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's a private dining at that house?
Yeah, at the Airbnb.
Right on.
Yeah. That's kind of like, that's big picture. But those are things that like I want to do. And then obviously, kids, if I can find female to have kids with. So anybody out there, I'm looking.
At Match.com or at eHarmony.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
All right. So beyond finding a lady and kids, what's next for you in regard to your growth as an individual?
Well, I just want to say maybe learn a little bit more, be a little bit more knowledgeable about my craft, because I know things, but it's always changing. Growth for an individual, just try to understand people a little bit more, work with my team a little bit more, and I think like working with a crew and like a team, like it's kind of good. It's kind of good for me to see what works, what doesn't work, and then that ties back into like now when I become a father, like what works with my child, like what works with that. So as far as growth, just general knowledge, maybe go to the gym you know.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Do you ever read like any leadership books or anything like
Yeah,
that?
I've read it.
Or
I've like browsed like a couple, like, just looked at like some stuff like as stupid as it sounds, like on Pinterest and like things like that. Just like, sometimes maybe click on an article on like on Facebook or whatever, and like, kind of like look at things like that, just breeze through them, but never really like completed any actual like book.
okay,
You know,
do you not read often?
Not really. Like,
Okay.
I try, but like, like I read the whole Born Identity trilogy,
Sure.
before it was a movie, which was kind of cool. Like when
Right.
it became a movie. But yeah, that was no, not really.
Years ago. Right
Yeah.
on. Right on. I have a couple of books that I would recommend picking up if what you're working on is understanding people more
Yeah.
and things that are going to tangibly and practically impact what you're trying to do and your growth as a leader.
Yeah.
I definitely have books I can recommend.
Yeah.
Um, uh, where? Let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you one more question after this. But where can people find you and reach you then? So this is your chance to plug all your
yeah.
outlets.
Well, I mean, you can, email is modified cooking, MATTAFIED cooking at gmail.com. You can also reach me at tmfm1000 at gmail.com. Also have my Twitter, which is tmfm1000. Twitter, Instagram, both tmfm1000. For Tony Making Food Matta. Some might beg to differ. You can go onto my YouTube channel, Modified Cooking. Facebook, search TMFM. That's my Facebook. Snapchat, TMFM. Just try to be consistent. So that way, people like, oh, well, I'm whatever.
One
But yeah,
search
yeah.
finds them all. That's
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, Modified Cooking. Look at that. Look at my YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, link. All that good stuff.
Awesome. And if anybody thinks that they want to be on Tony's brand new email list, email him at modifiedcooking@gmail.com and say, I want to be on your new email list, Tony. It
Yeah.
sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Before I ask the last question, I want to acknowledge you for a moment. I want to
Yes.
acknowledge your focus,
Yes.
your growth over the last decade since I've known you, your intensity, your passion for cooking, your work ethic, your drive, your determination to get the job done, no matter what, your ability to have fun while doing what you love, and always reaching for the next goal.
Yeah.
Always going for the next goal. With that, what advice do you have for those listening who have a passion and want to get after it?
Never stop. Don't ever stop. Just keep on going. If somebody says you can't, well, just ask them, why do you think I can't? And if they tell you a reason, well, you don't have any money, or you don't have this, you don't have that, well, then you get that, and you just continue to do that. And if just don't stop, and you know what, I told somebody the other day, they were worried about, not being able to, work with me, maybe because of his background check and things like that. And I said to him, like, well, if that happens, you know what? Well, it happens, and you know what? I'm sorry that happens, and it's something maybe in your past might follow up, and this is why. And now you know that you shouldn't have did that when you were younger, and you know what? But don't let that discourage you from becoming a cook and becoming a chef, and don't stop learning, because maybe we might be a corporate entity, or there are corporate entities that have background checks and things like that, and you might not be able to get in because you have certain stuff, and they even go to like credit scores. You can't get in some places because of credit scores, but like, don't let that discourage you. I told him, I said, look, don't let that discourage you. There are plenty of other restaurants and other places that you can work that are privately owned that are willing to take a chance on somebody like you. And if I had my opportunity, if I had my restaurant, I'd give you an opportunity. So just don't let that knock you down. And you just got to keep on pushing. People are always going to say no, and you can't, and you're not going to be successful and this and that. And as soon as you give up, then you give up. And that's that. Like, you just got to keep on pushing. And then when you get there, like what you said, well, what's the next step? Like, what's next? What's next, chef? Or what's going on? Because like, nobody's going to do anything for you except for you yourself. And if people are going to tell me no, Like, I would never thought that I would be here in this situation 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago. Not even 3 years ago would I thought that I'd be in the situation that I'm at right now. And you know, and it's funny that you said that you're proud of me and you know, like now I feel like I kind of have to like make it I gotta be that person that people like are proud of because I don't want you to be doubtful, like, oh well, he was so good, and then this is what happens, you know. And there's been lots of people who like said that they were proud of me, and you know they're proud of what I've accomplished, and you know they couldn't do it, and it's like, no, like you can do it, you just don't want to do it. You can do it. You can do everything. You were given every opportunity that I was given. It's just that you haven't done it, and you could still do it. Like that one guy that I was talking to, he was like 30 and you know, he said, you know, well, you know, like if I don't get this, then you know, well, you know, if you don't do it, it's never too late to start. You know, like you're 30, okay, well, okay, you only have your GED. Okay, well, now what do you want to do? Okay, like let's say you want to get into another place, and you might have this thing that's haunting you from the back. Well, you know, there is a statute of limitations, and plus, okay, well, why don't you get your GED? Well, why don't you go to school? Okay, now why don't you get a Pell Grant? Why don't you start doing something like that? And then, you know, I was like, you know, I didn't start school until I was like 28, you know, yeah, 27, and you know, and it was a long time, and then I'm successful now, but like, you know, this person like, well, now you go to school, and then you can go to college, you go to college, and then you get your degree, and then maybe like that stuff in the past might not be as it might not follow you because now you might have like a degree or you might have something that's better, if that makes sense. So just never stop. Never stop. Just keep on doing you and just keep. And if people are going to criticize you, and the more successful you get, the more haters you're going to get, and that's that. You know. So just never stop. Never stop.
I love it. Tony, making food Matta.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming and doing this, brother. I really appreciate
It's a
you for
pleasure.
doing this, and I know that there's a lot of practical wisdom that people are going to be able to apply in whatever industry or walk of life they're in. So thank you very much for doing this, man, and I can't wait to see where your growth leads you next, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Tony Matta. And if you did, please share this episode across your social media platforms. Word of mouth is huge. I'd also love to hear about what resonates with you, so send an email to getafterit@therealjohnk.com and tell me what you liked or tell me what you did not like, because feedback is the breakfast of champions and breakfast is the most important meal of the morning. A big thanks to all of you who have subscribed to the podcast on iTunes, and feel free to rate the podcast, please and thank you. In addition to subscribing to the podcast, join my official mailing list and you'll stay up to date on all of my new releases and happenings. Just send an email to getafterit@therealjohnk and say, sign me up. The next episode of Get After It will feature, who knows? Right now, I got a few people getting ready to be booked. Don't know who we're going to have. But until then, you get after it.